say.
All right, we'll go ahead and do a call to order with roll call. Mike, would you like to do roll call?
Sam Bossum,
Here.
Cheryl Tucker,
Here?
Blake Ostrino here, Sarah Collins, Donna Doxson,
Here.
Christine Murphy,
Here.
Ryan Pacer.
Here.
All right, are there any public comments on agenda items? There's no public here tonight. Any public comments on non-agenda items? None of those either. Any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, I have an amendment.
Okay.
I'd like to add to the new business a discussion on the budget for the Park and Rec Commission.
Great.
That you and I got a statement on, but nobody else did.
Yep.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah,
Procedure, yeah.
you made a motion, we need a second.
I'll second that
Okay,
motion.
and then,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No opposed. We'll add it under new business. Okay. Thank you, Sharon. All right. Approval of last month's minutes. Okay, second.
I'll second that motion.
And I'd like to make a correction.
Oh, correction, excellent.
On the roll call, I wasn't here, but you were. Your name's not on it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, one of us here, it's
So-
close enough. No, last month, was that, I know I missed a
Sam-
month because I had a work thing come up at the last one. Was that?
That was 2 months ago.
2 months ago? Okay.
Yeah,
So that
because I
really is
handled
okay.
it 2 months ago. Last month, I wasn't here and you were.
That's right.
So
Okay.
your name needs to be added to the roll call and mine needs to be removed.
Okay, moving on with previous motion, with that adjustment, everyone in favor of approving last month's minutes?
Aye.
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 All opposed? None opposed? Then moving on to department staff updates, with the Recreation Division Assistant Director, Gina.
Okay, I know I have that because I just went back to get it. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of a wrap-up for summer and let you know what's happening starting in the fall. Summer camp this year, we did really well. Our revenue is up from 69,000 last year to 106,000 this year, so that's a really a big jump. 87 individuals, 69 families for the junior adventure and adventure camp. For the early childhood, 38 individuals, 35 families. Summer concerts. Our numbers are down a little bit because we had some inclement weather. Last year we had 4,600, and this year we had 2,625. Can't do anything about rain. Super Sensational Saturdays, grand total attendance 750 this year, 700 last year. Movies in the park. We have a second movie in September, but the first movie, we had 150 in attendance, so I'll have to report on the second movie next month. Adults and seniors, we had 27 programs, 324 participants. Special note that the Birthday Bunch and Lunch is moving back to the Iowa Community Center from the library as of this week, Thursday. So we'll be back home. I'm going to do aquatics next month because there's a lot to report there. Going into upcoming fall events. Brewfest, October 5th. We still have tickets available. We're at 147 sold. There was 153 last year. So we must have sold more tickets today from when I checked earlier. We have 12 brewers confirmed, 3 food trucks. So we're looking good for that. We are in the process of signing up volunteers, and that's going very well too. But if there's anyone here that wants to volunteer, there's still time. I can get you a slot. Halloween Happenings is October 18th. That's here at the Iowa Community Center. The first hour of that event, at 5 o'clock, the kids go from booth to booth and trick or treat. The groups that are here provide the candy or the treats for that, and then it's also an opportunity for them to promote their group, to try to get, more people to sign up to be a part of that. We just had a conversation about that with the Fund Commission, so it's a great opportunity. And if the commission wants to have a booth, I know someone that could get you in at no charge. We're scarecrow decorating contest. We have, I think, let's see. I don't have a number for how many people are registered, but the brochure just went out. So we'll take people signing up for that through October 23rd. I'm sorry. You have to get your kit by 10/10, and we will judge on October 23rd. My mistake. We have fall soccer. Games began September 7th. We have 163 participants, 148 last year. Women's volleyball starts this Thursday. 17 teams registered. Last year we had 15. This is exciting for women's volleyball because the first half of the season they'll be solely in District 45. And then when the VPRC opens up, well, we'll be able to facilitate 2 leagues every Thursday. So we'll still have to use the school district, but we'll be in our own facility for 2 out of the 3. Pickleball classes at the Iowa Community Center are starting this week. We're waiting to see if we get enough registration. And then we have free group fitness that will start, or will be held the week of September 23rd. Preschool started this week. All 4 of the classes that we advertised are running. Last year, I believe 2 ran at the beginning of the year, and then we were able to add 1 for the second half. So we had orientation last week. Classes started on Monday. I asked specifically in our meeting today if we had a lot of kids that were having trouble with separating from parents, but we had 4-year-olds starting Monday, and they're kind of pros, so we didn't have that issue. That's it, till we get to something later in the agenda.
You said volleyball, are you talking Jackson is where it's at?
Yes.
Okay, not the high school, but it's at.
No, at Jackson.
Okay.
I have a few questions. The summer camp went from 69 to 106. What do we attribute that to?
Early advertisement, early registration. And it's a really great program.
And movies in the park, is that at Cortese still?
Yeah, originally, we were going to do it at Lufkin, but we weren't quite ready for that first one, and the one that's coming up on September 20th? Is that a Friday?
20th.
Yeah. We're just going to have that at Cortese too, because we're still trying to get
Level
the
that
grass.
area.
Yeah.
Brian at Top Trust, the grass when the county planted didn't come in really good in the summertime, so Brian at Top Trust that area, and we're hydro seeding, so it's probably on his report. But
You'll hear more
so
about
we want to get it better,
Not a
the
lot
growth
more.
better. It was not doing very well over the summer, so we want to.
And the scarecrow contest, is that throughout the village, or are they going to be posted at Village Hall or Iowa Center?
At their own houses,
Okay.
because that's what people liked. So we're going back to putting the scarecrow in front of houses. They'll still, you get we'll give an award out. If anybody saw the fall-winter brochure, the winner from last year is on the cover. That's what we do each year.
Any other questions?
Will you list where they're at then? Like the houses, will we be able to list that? through the Scarecrow
No.
No.
We
it'd
don't do
just be
that,
out there. Well, I'm
because-
just wondering, so
Yeah.
people could see where they are.
They could just drive
Yeah.
around town.
So they could drive around town and see them.
But we-
But
we're
we
not
can't
gonna
post
give
the
them that.
address
Yeah.
as,
Okay.
you know, privacy and all. Which is why it was nice to, move them to a central location, but I think the folks really like having them to
Well, I
decorate the front of their
understand,
houses.
And a lot of people, when you do the Halloween contest or whatever the Fun Commission does, and they let you know where they're at. That's why I
Right.
was asking if there
Those-
was somewhere that we could, tell that the scarecrows were out at certain places.
Well, they announced the
but I
winner.
They
understand-
announced the winner and that address, but there's not a list of houses that participated.
Okay. Residents could go by and see the scarecrows, that's all.
Any other questions? Or move on? All right, excellent. Moving on to Parks, Building and Grounds Division Superintendent. Brian, what do you have for us?
Thank you. Current completed park facility projects over at Lufkin. Construction of the limestone pathways is completed. We had the remaining section around the performance shelter that was kind of left off, which we finished off last week. We got everything else over there rolled out and done. Staff are working now to spread that big dirt pile that was out there. I don't know, have you seen it recently? How does it look?
I didn't look at it, I was out of town this
Should
weekend.
be basically gone. Yeah, and we're saving a little bit of dirt, I think, because there's a few areas around the pond, but the dirt pile is on the performance hill now, as Greg was talking, that we took that dirt from the path, we reused it on that hill to regrade that, we're spreading that out. We're also using it around the pond to clean up some of the edges and just kind of fix some things. After the hill is graded out, we're gonna seed everything, and then we're going to use a hydro mulch instead of the straw blanket that was kind of used throughout. I think there was the straw blanket tends to come up and tangle and other things, so we wanted to look for an alternative that might improve the grass growing, but also not be as much of an issue, so. We received the benches and trash cans for the park. They actually got delivered on Friday of last week. So we're hopeful too that we may be able to get them assembled and installed this week. If we can't get them in this week with the earthwork, then we'll work to get them in next week. But they should be in very soon, installed very soon. Once we get all of that work done, we still have the concrete culvert that's on the southwest corner over there. We're gonna cut that section out, regrade it, frame that out, and then pour that new concrete walk over there, like, as we were talking about. It's, like we mentioned, it's not gonna be a culvert. You'll notice it more as like a sidewalk. It'll still have pitch for a drain, but it'll essentially just be a concrete sidewalk that spans those two things. So that will officially complete everything that we need to do over there. We also recently just installed new automatic door locks on the restroom doors over there. The locks are programmed to open and close on timed programs. So they are programmed to open at 9 a.m. and close at 7. We have this same system over at North Terrace and Metro Building, which has been working good over there. It's been working good over at Lufkin as well. So we already had the software to program and do everything, so it worked really well for us to be able to use that again. So it's been working good. So it also helped, we had staff there in the mornings and in the evenings because we had to physically lock and unlock the facility. So it helps us not having to have people there. So we still have staff there in the morning to make sure the building is clean and everything is ready to go. But then it unlocks itself and locks itself at the end of the day. So, and we've also asked the police department then in the evening to help us keep an eye on the building and make sure those doors are shut and nothing else is going on over there. So, over at Jefferson Pool, so the pool liner, We're still coordinating, the liner is still happening this fall. I was actually on the phone just before the meeting, and I spoke with Aquapure, and we are scheduled for the second week in October to have the liner installed. So we're solidifying the date, but the second week in October is gonna be installed over there, so. Jefferson Pool is shut down, it's been drained. We're leaving the water and electric on for the liner project, so that they have power and things that they'll need over there. But following the install of the liner, then we'll fully winterize and shut down the facility. This week and next, and before the liner, we're evaluating the concrete shell for any needed repairs. Repairs and imperfections. Once they put the liner in, it's gonna take the shape of the pool. So if there's any humps or bumps or anything like that, that'll come through in the liner somewhat. So we just wanna install it so it has the best success. And then we're also removing the annual items from the pool, the umbrellas, the diving boards, ladders, chairs, stuff like that, so. Over at fire stations, Station 81 restroom improvement project still progressing forward. We received an updated proposal from Kluber with cost estimates based on our last review of the project. We're in the process of working with them now on construction documents, and then they'll take us into bidding. We're still hopeful that it'll happen before the end of this year, that we'll start it, but it's now looking like most of the project will be in 2025, so. We also finalized HVAC improvement proposal at Station 82. This would replace their boiler system and install a new air conditioning system in the facility. Their AC is currently similar to this. It's a lot of window units, so it's not the best and most efficient in their building. So the new system will be much improved, so. Upcoming projects, we are planning for a flagpole installation at Village Hall with, including electric to this new pole. So that will be significant. We're coordinating, working to coordinate any upcoming fall memorial installations. And then we continue to do a lot of preparation for the new rec center. So that's all I have.
Aren't you doing some tours of the pool before the liner goes in?
I believe Greg may have more info on that, but I think it did come up at the board meeting last night that we're happy to take anyone on tours of the pool and anything like that before and/or after we get the liner installed in there, so.
A couple of trustees had asked to check out the pool, so if anybody wants to go to the pool before the liner's installed, just give us a holler. We can take you through there. Or if you want to go right after the liner's installed in October, then we can take you through after the liner's installed. So just let us know. We'll be happy to take you around. That's all for you.
That was all I had, yes.
That was a quick list.
Joe, you have questions? You
Yes,
look like
I
you
have a
question.
couple of questions.
Sure.
Was there any painting done at Jefferson Pool? I had a couple residents tell me that their kids came off during the swim season with paint on them.
So we did, we made a few repairs at the start of this season, and we painted those repairs. But we only painted them with the anticipation of installing this liner at the end of the year. So this would have been a year where we would have painted the entire pool. We would have done more prep work and painted the entire pool. We didn't do that because it's,
Cost savings.
the paint is anywhere, it's
It's
like
expensive.
$10,000
Yeah,
to paint the
okay.
pool every time we do it. So we didn't do that to save that money in doing this liner now. So we painted the patches. Some of the patches held better than others. So there was a loss. There was also, like I said, that we usually go 2 to 3 years between painting the pool, and this would have been that year. So there were areas of the pool too that would have been different. So we tried to do what we could at the start of the season to get us through this season. There was a few areas that flaked off a little bit more than we would have liked. But
Was that painting why the pool had water in it?
What's the,
They were
No.
talking about it while they were swimming in Jefferson, that their kids came home with paint on them.
Paint
That's-
chips or wet
No,
paint?
wet paint, like they had
no,
been there.
there's no,
there was no
we
painting
can't
done,
paint the
right?
pool while there's water.
That's what I
in it, so,
thought.
yeah.
That
Yeah, they
there
won't.
was some people that called me and said why they were swimming at Jefferson, they came home with paint on them. I'm like, we weren't painting at Jefferson as far
No,
as
there
I
was,
know.
that wouldn't have been from us. We can't paint with water in the pool.
Well, that's what I kind of figured.
Yeah,
That,
Maybe somebody's kids was trying to get by with something.
I don't know.
Right.
You know, whatever it was there. The other thing is, I walked Lufkin on the south side. We have a very bad incline in some areas. Are we going to fix that?
Yeah, we'll make sure it's good.
That it
On the
gets
south
level or
side,
what eventually? I know eventually, that's what I was saying. Right now, it's got a really bad incline that if it freezes up that path,
okay.
people are gonna definitely slide into the pond, because it's that bad at that area.
check
And I
it
know
out.
you have to figure out, because that's residents' property too, that you're trying to, make the path, but you've got their property that you can't make it too high over their property, so that leans to there, but there
Okay.
are
Yeah,
some areas.
we'll take a look on the south side and we'll go through the whole thing again and make sure there's no,
And then that grade over will eventually might be put in, or has it been put in? Where the drainage ditch comes into the pond?
oh, yeah, we're gonna, as soon as we finish the Performance Hill and get all that dirt spread out, then we're gonna cut that out and do that section.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
gonna put it, because right now it's got a loop to walk, so
Like I
you
said,
can't go
once
straight
we're done,
across.
you'll notice where we tied in, but it'll be like a sidewalk.
It will be a sidewalk
Yeah,
straight
it'll still
across, right?
maintain pitch for drainage, but, I mean, you'll probably hardly notice it, so.
Okay, well, right now it isn't, that's why I said,
Yeah.
figured somewhere along the line, we're working on it piece by piece, understandably, that eventually, but, yeah, that one south side is kind of treacherous right now. It's got a little lean more than,
Okay, yeah, we'll take a look.
and I had talked to your guys that were out there watering.
Done
When
a
I
lot
was
of
by
water,
there.
a lot of watering out there, yeah.
And I said, I really appreciate that you guys are taking care of Lufkin and watering it, and the guy was out there grading the path or putting it, and he said, yep, we're going to take that big dirt hill and we're gonna put it over there and we're gonna put seed on, and
Yes.
so they were.
Turning off the splash pad, are there any measures to be taken, like to blow out the air, and when will that be done? Kind of one of those,
We're trying to keep it open as long as possible.
all
just kind
based
of
on the
keeping on the weather?
Yeah.
So no certified
It's gonna be
date?
90, or high 80s the rest of the week, I think, this weekend. So we're gonna
Kind of look at the
monitor
weather? and-
see what happens in October, September's, we don't have to worry about it. It's not gonna get below freezing, I don't think. Knock on wood, hope I didn't just jinx us. But we'll have to look at the weather and keep an eye on that, and we'll keep it open as long as we can. But once the consistent freezing weather hits, we'll blow out the lines and it'll be closed for the season. We'll make sure everybody knows that. But like for the drinking fountain lines, we do that end of October, I think.
Usually about that. We try to keep everything open as long as we can. It usually ends up being the overnight lows that kind of set it off. If we're getting lows that are consistently below, then we have to look at shutting some stuff down. But as long as we can keep it open.
But we're not gonna mess around, we'll.
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
close
just
it.
didn't know if there was like a solid concrete, like we turned off the water fountains on October 1st, or, there was,
You gonna follow the same schedule you do with the Prairie Path? Because I know last year we were the last ones that turned off our fountains on the Prairie Path.
And
And I
like I
know the
said,
runners
we
were
know that
really
it's
grateful
popular
for that.
and
Yeah.
we like to keep them open as long as possible. So I know turning them on, we try to have it set and we go a little earlier if we can, but we try to do the same thing when we turn them off.
I just want to make a comment that my husband had said. He said, it was one thing to spend a lot of money on Lufkin Park. He said, but it's a great thing to see it being utilized and just not standing still. So it was a win-win.
Thank you. It is being utilized, that's for sure. Even when
And
it's a little
he's
chilly out in
he's
the
a man
morning,
of very
people
few
are-
words, and he expressed that. He goes,
Yeah,
Any
it's
other
great.
questions?
Will those bathrooms be open year-round? So
Same
that's just a
thing.
time schedule,
Yeah, turn
right?
the water
Same
off,
type
yeah.
thing, then it's
Yep.
gonna, okay. That's
There's
what
no
I-
heat in it. I don't think there, no, there's.
Heat in the
no,
mechanical room in the center of the
Yeah.
building, but there's nothing in the facility.
Similar to the
Shut down the rest of.
Jefferson Pool.
Jefferson
you
Pool and
know.
everything that's shut down, okay.
Yeah, like Twin Lakes and stuff.
Yeah.
is there any talk of, for kids to come east from Ardmore? The only crossing right now is Jackson. I don't think Van Buren, Congress, or Rand has anything. Are they talking about putting a crossing?
I don't,
There-
we kind of had some preliminary discussions. Maybe, you know, but I drove it the other day and there's no sidewalks from like Van Buren, I think. I'd have to look, but, you know, coming from across from the east side, we'd like to tie it in with a sidewalk.
And most
And
of
then-
those streets don't have sidewalks.
And, yeah, I don't think there was a sidewalk. I'll have to double check, because I just was driving by and I didn't notice, but I'll have to double check. But if there's a sidewalk, we'd like to do something similar to like the Prairie Path, where people can hit the button, you know, when the
Or even
caution
put the
lights.
cones in the street that, when a pedestrian's there, you stop. Or, like you said, the flashers.
Yeah, we're looking at maybe some flashers, but we have to tie it into a sidewalk, I think, so. Which, I have to double check on that. But yeah, we've talked a little bit about that preliminary, but similar to the Prairie Path where, you know, people are crossing Ardmore or whatever, they hit the flashing sign and, or Villa Avenue, hit the flashing sign, and so people can stop, because there'll be people walking across
Yeah.
the street, so.
Any other questions for Brian before we move on? Excellent. Moving on to Director of Parks and Recreation.
Okay. Thanks, Sam. So I just touch upon Lufkin and Lions Park a little bit, and Ozline grants. Last month, we had the ribbon cutting, so that was a great turnout. A lot of people, so we're happy to see everybody come out, and even though there's still some work to be done, it was nice to see everybody. And we had, previously, we had did a, just a soft opening where they removed the construction fence, and we opened the park for people to use, and it was pretty warm out, so that was getting used before the ribbon cutting, so glad we did that. The park is probably, I don't know, 95% done, 98% done. There's a couple things here and there. Signage being one. Brian had ordered some signs through Burke Recreation for the spray pad, listen, rules and regulations, don't bring your pets in the spray pad area, those type of things, hours of operation. And so we'll install those as soon as we get them from the Burke Recreation. I think it's Burke, isn't it? Burke? I think it's Burke. Anyway, so we'll get those installed. The last bit of things that we have to do is the informational signage along the path. That's pretty cumbersome. The county just gave us, DuPage County, for their stormwater, just gave us a bunch of links on plant materials, so we had to pull out information and then pare it down. So we've got to contact the sign company and see if they're going to lay it out, and then order that, and that'll be the last thing. And we'll do the closeout paperwork. It was a $400,000 grant, so we got submitted a request for early payment. They can pay, the IDNR will pay up to 50%, so we already received $200,000 of that, so we just have to do the closeout paperwork by the end of this month, early October, and they'll send us the other $200,000, so we'll be done with that grant. Check another one off. If you notice out here, you know, we got a grant for the skate park, and the IDNR requires us to put up a little IDNR sign, so we'll put that on our Lufkin sign. But next time you come by, or if you want, when you're walking out, you'll see the little IDNR sign on the Iowa Community Center sign in the lower right-hand corner, I think. So we'll do that. let's see, I think that's it. Oh, Brian mentioned the garbage cans and everything, so those things are in, we'll install those. And then we'll just keep on the grass growing, and it's a good time to plant because we're at the fall, and so we'll get the fall season and then the spring season next year for the stuff to grow and come in. It, like anything, even out here, you know, it'll take a year to establish, and so, and if we run into warm weather or dry weather and we need to water next year, we will do so. And that's it. The park will be good for 50 years,
Awesome.
if not longer. Yes, Donna?
Hours of operation, are they gonna, I know you said for the spray pad, are they also gonna put, you know, sunrise to sunset for the park? They
Yeah,
have those before.
yeah, and there's a sign up there already with no parking overnight, and, but that's, all our parks are on the same schedule.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
to sunset.
And then the sign that we initially had up for construction, has that been taken down,
That-
or is
I
it
don't
going to
think-
be taken down?
Yeah, it's gonna be taken down, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
The
We just
one
haven't
that
got-
had basically what was inclusive in the
Yeah,
park?
we just haven't got a chance to take that.
Okay.
down yet.
That's it.
Yep. And then Lions Park, construction for the rec center is, the Ville Park Recreation Center is on schedule. They look to be finished by sometime in December. I don't know, they haven't got a specific date yet, but as they get closer, you know, we'll get specifics. But then we'll have to move in and get acclimated, and so we're probably going to do like a grand opening similar to Lufkin, probably right after the first of the year. So they'll give us a chance to get everything out of here and moved to the rec center, get staff situated. IT is, you know, all that stuff. IT Brian, there's Parks Brian and IT Brian. IT Brian will have to set up everybody's computer stations.
Fun
and
Brian.
Fun Brian. Okay, we can go with that. So rather than kind of rush things, we want to take the month of December and make sure everything's working. And then at the first of the year, we'll have our grand opening, big grand opening celebration, ribbon cutting. And it'll tie in with everybody's New Year's resolutions and, you know, membership passes and sales and all that good stuff. And then our winter, spring session starts in January, so it kind of ties in, so. The fences, construction fence will be coming down next week. They're working on the parking lot areas. I think they've already poured the concrete posts for the parking lot lights. They've continued to do the mudding and drywall, taping, painting, putting tile in, the bathrooms, all that kind of good stuff. So the drywall's already up, and if you guys want to come and do a tour, we'll be happy to lead you on a tour. It's kind of neat to see. It's coming along really good. The elevator will be going in at the end of this month. The locker rooms, the toilets, et cetera, will be installed. They'll be topping off the fitness room floor, because that's a little different. It's soundproof for, you know, you don't hear all the weights dropping from below and next door, so. But they'll be doing that. They mentioned light pole bases are going in. I think that's basically all I have for Lions Park and the Recreation Center. Again, if anyone wants a tour, we'll be happy to take you through the building. And then for the OSLAD grant, for actually the playground in Lions Park, we did our bid opening August 20th, I think it was. Yep, August 20th. We had 6 companies bid on the project. So the Upland Design is currently reviewing the lowest qualified bidder, and we'll get some references, check the references and all that, and then we'll probably go to the board on the next board meeting for approval of whichever lowest responsible bidder wins the bid. and then they can get started on that project this fall. And let's see, I think I mentioned that. We met with the Villa Park Youth Baseball group today, just right before the meeting, to discuss the past season and what we want to do for next year. They're really active in trying to make youth baseball better and helping us out with ball field type stuff. They took a more active role in lining and dragging the fields before games this year. We still did some pregame weekly maintenance on the fields, but they took a bigger role in prepping the fields for gameplay. So that worked out pretty well. It was kind of a weird summer because we had a lot of like downpours and rain. So the original thought when we were going into this at the beginning of the season was Brian's guys would do the fields, drag the fields like once a week. Well, with the rain, it was a lot more than once a week. So, but we're excited about their commitment to help improve our fields that we own. High Ridge will be a good one for next spring, even this fall, start redoing the infield mix. There's been some drainage problems over there, so we're gonna work on that. And so we really wanna make our own fields really pristine. Same thing with Lions Park baseball field. They'll help us out in any way they can with that. And I think we're putting in the budget for an outfield fence, which we never had. We couldn't have it because of the two fields, but we'll hopefully install an outfield fence this coming spring. And then lights, there's the big main, what do you call it, light shed where all the power was, that had to be removed. And now the electric company has to relocate. Brian's guys had located all the wires and everything, but there's some snafus, they have to locate some of the.
Yeah, they have all the wires, but there's trouble identifying each one that goes up the pole, so
yeah.
each specific fixture and things like that, so they're probably gonna have to run new wire through each that we have, so.
So we'd like to hopefully get that taken care of by the start of next late spring, summer baseball season. But it was, all in all, it was a good meeting, and we're happy to have the youth baseball really take a lot more ownership and help us out on those fields. It's been a really good working relationship with those guys. And then many of you were on the commission, but years ago we did redid Cortese Park, and we did the new memorial over at Cortese, and we put those bricks, the memorial bricks down, and we needed like 24, at least a minimum of 24 bricks to be engraved. We couldn't go to the engraving landscape company and bring one brick at a time, which is understandable. And it's been 3-4 years since the last time we put any bricks in, and maybe it was 3 weeks ago, VFW let you know that they had like 80 applications for bricks. So we dropped off the bricks to the landscaping company, and they're engraving these memorial bricks. If you're at Cortese Park, you'll see that the bricks are like Umbrio wheat color bricks. They don't no longer make them. However, so we have plenty of blank bricks in the memorial. So we just took the blank bricks out and took them over. So if you're walking by Cortese and you see an area that's cordoned off with caution tape, that's because we had to pull a bunch. I think we had 30 left over from the project, and we used those 30, and we had to pull 50 out. So,
Wow.
yeah, so it's great. It's as soon as we get them, we'll install them and let the VFW know, and the folks that ordered their bricks can check it out, and as a remembrance for those their loved ones, and even for people that are still around, they've ordered some. So it's kind of a nice little project. And that's all I have.
Are we gonna do a color scheme for the recreation playground kind of still stick with more the natural like we did at Lufkin?
Color. I think, we had staff pick out color.
We went
And-
with, like, primary colors because the preschool will be using it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep, and so it'll be colorful, and we'll have, we haven't done any, none of our parks have the poured-in-place surface. And we're not gonna use the mulch or anything, and so it'll be a different surface. It won't be the AstroTurf like at Lufkin or over here.
What is poured in place?
It's
mean?
rubber, you know, they pour it.
Oh, that rubberized,
the
yeah,
rubber.
okay.
We're
yeah.
very excited about that.
Yeah, and they've got stamps of, I don't know, butterflies and. maybe
Butterflies,
so-
yes.
so-
No bees.
No bees, but staff didn't want bees, but, so, and that'll be colorful as well, so it'll be neat, it'll be a cool project.
I've never even seen that, like, in another playground, so, and the staff was really excited about the poured in place with the butterflies and everything.
I think I've seen that in Florida, actually, the poured in place.
Some park districts have it.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, you know, the multi-purpose and preschool rooms have the doors that lead right out to the playground, so for classes, preschool age classes, they can
Group and
go
run.
right out and enjoy the playground.
Right to the playground.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, yeah.
Two things came up at the board last night. Is the Twin Lakes project they're doing going to have any effect on the recreation going over there? Because they're doing that. That you
I
know
haven't, Public Works hasn't mentioned anything, so I don't think so, but we'll double check on that.
Okay.
Shouldn't.
And I also noticed that they talked about, I can't look for her name. The Susanna talked about our web thing last night.
Yep, yep.
Okay, but we couldn't see it. Anyone at home couldn't see what she was doing.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
I was yelling at
Count.
the screen,
All
like,
you
turn the
had was
camera,
her.
turn the camera.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we never, and the residents couldn't see what was being
That's okay, you'll be
done.
surprised.
Yeah, it'll be nice, it'll be, Gina's staff, they all work together.
I know you
put it
guys are
together.
working on that, so do you have a date that we're actually gonna see it, or are you still,
I think it'll be right, I don't know the exact date, but it'll be ready to go for winter, spring
Yeah.
programming and stuff.
so it's gonna be up and running, is that November, or?
You know what, I have actually a meeting tomorrow with the public information
Officer?
officer, communication, whatever, communication specialist, sorry, wrong, Riley, and then, and with Brian tomorrow. So we're going to talk about some options, and I'll get more, IT Brian, not Fun Brian.
IT, bro.
Okay,
So I'll have more of an idea in terms of dates. But the catalyst behind making the change is to time it with the rec center. So
Okay.
that it's a little bit easier to click through the site to get to what you want to get to. So there'll be fewer clicks to get to where you need to go, so.
I was kinda getting that out of the presentation, but we couldn't see what she
Yeah.
was showing, because they didn't.
Yeah, our landing page, when you get to Parks and Rec, I think, and then I like this idea, it will have the little buttons on it that you can press to get to different parts of Parks and Recreation. So it'll look like the main page for the village.
Oh, okay,
So it'll, model that a little bit.
which will make it a lot better for the rec center, so they can move the.
Yeah, we want to make it as
schedule.
easy as possible for people to find out whatever they want to find out.
Okay. Instead of going through 3 different screens.
Right.
Perfect, okay. So they're timing it towards the
Mm-hmm.
time of the rec
Yep.
center and the winter brochure, sorry. Fall
Yeah,
brochure.
winter, spring.
Winter, spring, winter, spring.
Winter, spring brochure, okay.
Any other questions? Moving on to unfinished business.
All right, so, well, I'll defer to Gina. Her and her staff did a lot of work putting stuff together to talk about hours of operation. We want to get the commission's recommendation on hours, and, you can ask us questions about what we think as well. And same goes for membership fees discussion. So those 2 items are, we'd like to to get input from the commission for the rec center.
So hours, I put that one first because that won't be quite as intensive. So at the bottom of this page that I passed out in just the blue lines, if you go all the way to the right, the very last column, which would be column H, if you look, it says 597676. So those numbers represent time, and then there's an AM or a PM next to them. And those are not my recommendation. That is just purely an average of the 6 other agencies that we put together on this. So, it's common to have weekdays be longer hours than Saturday and Sunday. And you'll see that if you look at the hours that all the other agencies have. Something to keep in mind, the longer we're open, the more it costs. One thing I didn't do that I wish I would have is I'd like to find out how many people are using facilities before 6 a.m. So some of them are open, Glen Ellen opens at 4:30. We got 5, 5:30, 5:30, 7. So I would really like to know how many people are there that early. Because in my head, I was thinking, well, I'm not supposed to say that, so 5 seems early to me. But that's all I'll say. And now the floor is open.
Like 5:30?
5:30, Mike?
What do you think, Donna?
I
You have a question, or do you want
I have input.
to? Great.
I checked out Vasa, they open at 4 AM, that's, I think, way, way, way too early. GoFit is 5 AM, and I think that's our closest to us. So I think 5 AM, and they close at 10 PM. That JK Gym, which is more of, it's on North Avenue and Villa, they're 5:30. Madison Meadow is 5:30, so I think that's our closest competition is Madison and Vasa. Ovaltine is 24 hours. LA is 5 AM. So I'd like to see 5 AM as a
5
start.
o'clock? Okay. You started talking about private places. I did pull some information. LA Fitness is 5, Orange Theory is 5, Vasa is 4, Planet Fitness is 24 hours, Anytime Fitness is 24 hours, JK Strength is 5:30, and Fitness Formula Club is 4:30. But those are private, and, I wanted to have the information in case anybody wanted to ask.
I mean, just the thought is, no matter what we decide now, we'll have to adjust it once we see what the attendance variations are.
Sure.
So if you open at 5 and there's 20 people in line at 5, then that means something. If you open at 5 and no one shows up till 9, whatever it's gonna be. So I'm assuming we'll be adjusting it after the first month or whatever.
I don't know about the first month.
We can't adjust it, if people buy a membership and we have X hours, unless we tell them that this might change, I don't know that we could actually.
Might be a year.
Yeah.
And it's not unheard of for park districts to adjust their times. Because where I go to work out, they were open later on Fridays and Saturdays, and they reduced their hours on Fridays and Sundays, for that matter. Because they found, same thing when they looked, that nobody was using the gym at 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. So they close at 7.
Okay.
And
What time does your gym open?
I believe it's either 5:30 or 6. I'd have to double check, because I don't go in that early. I'm
Oh.
usually going after work.
I think it's 6. I think I talked to Joel.
Might be a 6, but, yeah, but there's some adjustment, but they usually do that during a year cycle.
So I guess the big consideration is, how much money would we lose if we open too early or stay too late? If we're paying, I don't know, how many we have, let's say, 2 people who work there and we have
People.
2 or fewer there.
Sue brought up a good point, too, that it's, people will accept the hours getting longer. That we could probably do and not have to wait a year. But if we are going to shorten the hours, then I think we'd have to wait longer.
Yeah,
So
good
that's
point.
a very good point. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Kind of
contributed
So that's a good
Yeah,
point,
no,
actually.
it is a great
Because if you sell somebody a membership and you are open from, 6 AM to 10 PM, and then you're getting feedback from people like, oh, I'd really like to come in, earlier, then the people who bought memberships aren't going to care if you open earlier. So that's just a good point, something to think about.
It looks like Madison is open at 6 AM.
Yes,
Well, when we-
I'm good with proposing the averages as documented on the bottom of the spreadsheet. I think that's a great starting point. Prior to even looking at that, I had done my own on what I would have done, and it's pretty close. I said 5:30 to 6 or 7, or 5:30 to 9 on the weekdays is kind of what I had come up with anyway. 5 to 9 is what the average is, and then on the weekends, I had documented 7 in the morning till 6 or 7, and it's pretty close to that on the spreadsheet, so I think that's a great starting point. And I would agree, I think even seasonally, you'll see people coming in at different times. In the summer, you've got people who are teachers, and then they're off, so their routine is going to change. So
They might want to get
it's
up
going to
and-
take a while to lock into what everybody's doing. But I think that's a great starting point, personally. That's would
So
be my
specifically,
recommendation to propose.
Like what's there?
What's missing is our facility and the square footage of our facility.
I can tell them that, if they.
I'm just saying, it's nice to have that to compare.
Sue said, we don't have our own square footage listed on here. So the building is 37,000 square feet. The fitness center, I believe, is 2,100. Does that sound right, Greg?
Yeah, I'd have to double check.
But we're going off the agenda.
Well, no, I have that here for all the other buildings, so I
Right,
was
but
letting
that
them
doesn't have
know.
anything to do with the hours.
No.
That's
Building
what
is
we're on.
37.
The agenda is.
I'm
the
sorry,
hours.
it would affect the fees, so I would just let
Yeah,
people
right,
know.
that would be the next one.
2,100.
I'm just like comparing it to the other facilities.
Yeah.
Which also, affects how much time they're open as well.
And our population is 22 and change.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you look at the other populations, Madison Meadows, and you're 40,000 people. They're twice as big. So they're drawing, 20,000 more people that use the facility than we would have.
So you have that information.
I'm good with going with the average of Monday through Friday, 5 to 9. And then if we need to, we can adjust it till 10 o'clock after the year if there's a need for it. And then the Saturday open, 7 to 6. And if there's a demand, then we keep it open till 7 after a year. And then Sundays, 7 to 6, I think is more than enough, but if we find that that's not, it's easier to add on after a year, like Sue said.
No, yeah, make it longer, yes.
Right.
So you're in favor of
The way it stands
way
now,
it's with- okay.
with the ability to extend the hours Monday through Friday after a year if we deem necessary. Saturday, if it's necessary, till 7 o'clock, and Sunday till 7 o'clock if we find it's necessary.
Yeah, and we'll come back, periodically
here.
at the quarters.
Yeah.
To update everybody on memberships and,
Yeah.
we peak hours and, when it's being used, like Gina said, with the other, find out if anybody's coming at 5 o'clock and we, if they're
I
not
think
coming.
that after a year, because you'll be through the dark doldrums of, winter, then you're gonna have the early sun coming up in the spring and the summer. So I'm good with that, and then extending if need be, in a year,
Yeah, adjusting. We can
adjusting.
adjust it.
I guess I would agree. I like just going with the averages that we were basing at least on data. Everyone, otherwise, just other people, everybody's got an opinion, right?
You're right,
So-
Yeah.
right.
So I like being able to just say that we took the average as the starting point and then, monitor, I guess.
Okay.
That way, otherwise, I'm sure, everybody's got a thought or whatever opinion, but if we can base it on data, I know I would feel more comfortable.
Somebody want to make a motion, since now we have at least 3?
Are we?
Or does somebody else have a comment?
I recommend opening up at 5:30, because if you think of the people who have to staff it, they have to get there like half an hour before. And so that means that they're gonna get there at 4:30 in the morning, and so you have to tack that on.
That would be
I don't
the
know
only
how many
concern
people-
is,
I don't know how many people are gonna come work out that early, and as we said earlier, that, you can always be like, hey, members, we're gonna give you more time, but you can't take that away. So it's like, are we willing to eat that time that's not guaranteed for the first year when we're trying to be as profitable as possible? So that's my only
good point.
concern with that, is I think that it might be a little early.
Okay, mine would be 5:30.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
fine.
You're saying because, for the same reason, most people get up at 5 o'clock, they get to their gym to work out at 5:30. So the 5 o'clock, getting the staff there is something different. They do the 5:30, a lot of people do the 5:30, they get dressed, and then they head to work. So staffing it at 5 o'clock, I don't see a purpose, but we could extend it if it works that way. But I think the 5:30 for the early crowd that wants to do it before work is enough time on theirs. I was leaning toward 10, but we can, because there are a lot of late people that like to work out later on. They do their evening stuff and then they come to the gym after they tuck their kids in and come to gym. But I'm willing to go with the 9 o'clock just to test it, and then if we have the population that wants it to go to 10, we can extend it to see it, but I would do the 5:30 to 9.
I'm in full agreement with Cheryl for the hours, where it's like you can always add on either side.
Yeah, I can add on either side. If we find that we have more people that want to do it the 5 o'clock, that's fine. But staffing-wise, I think 5:30 is good enough for those people that want to work out before work. And then we can try 9 o'clock. And if there's enough people, and I'm thinking the basketball people more inclined, that they want to do a scrimmage game later at night, and they'll do it from 8 to 10 or whatever it is, or people that do volleyball rather than, the fitness type thing. I'm thinking more of our sports people that come in and do a, pickup game. They're going to do it late at night if we close it up from 8 to 9, it may be too short for them to do that pickup game.
How
Or-
late do your programs go?
Or programming.
Volleyball in the schools goes to about 9:30.
So we can't close at 9.
Well, we can't start till 7 at the school, so.
Yeah, so we can
Right.
start a little bit
Start an
earlier.
hour early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you still have the same attendance from people, or do they like that time, the start time?
No, I think that,
Yeah, I
We
know
push it.
just from like running softball leagues, that especially at Lions years ago, it was the first games were at 6 o'clock. And we would always work with the teams that if the guys were coming from far away, they could request that no early games. They would always have to play a couple of early games because it's not fair to give everybody the early games and one team has all the later games. So we would adjust it, but we work with the teams. So that's the one way that if there's a few teams out there that's, half of my team is coming from Chicago, okay, you can, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock games, we can do that. But there's gonna be a couple games that are in there at 6 o'clock, so we can do that. And that seems to work pretty well, is working with the teams and their schedules for early games.
I wouldn't want to change all 5 weekdays purely because volleyball is used to going until 9:30.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was other programs that we were
No, everything
missing
else-
besides volleyball.
Yeah, we're pretty much, Well, there isn't a ton that goes on after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean,
Usually the kids'
I can't
programs
even-
are, you know, we want to get the kids home
Grid programs
to
are
bed.
done at 9 or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but that's the only thing I was thinking that we might want to extend it to 10 was the people that come in, you know, to pick up the game for basketball or,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, there's going to be a lot of people you're going to see on the walking track after 9 o'clock, or there may be a few in the, you know, the weight room. So to start it off, to fill it out at 9, I'm okay with, but I have a feeling we may eventually find out we want to extend it for those people that do want to come in to play late game and pick up games for basketball or use the, you know, our fitness rooms or.
So,
Well, do you want to change it to 5:30 to 9:30?
let me, so, having had experience with this, and so before my previous gig, I was driving to the city, and so I would go to the gym every morning, and on mornings I got my stuff together, and I would show up there before 5. There was always at least 3, now this is, you know, always 3 to 5 people waiting in the parking lot for 5.
wow.
And then, you know, 5 to 5:30, there's a group that comes in, the serious people who are gonna come in, and that's actually, it's pretty busy. Now, I don't know how that translates to our, you know, our town and our community. And I've also had an opportunity to spend a lot of times, they close at 10, and so I've been there gone in at 9 to start a gym, and by the time 10 rolls around, there's like 2 people in there at most. Again, this is, you know, I don't know if that translates to us, but, just from my personal experience, it seems like there's always that group of people who wanna get in there first thing, that's what I did, get in there, get a workout, take a shower, drive into the city. And I was always surprised how many people were, and then, you know, in January, that's gonna be 10 people at 5 for about a month, maybe a week. And then it goes down, but just having done that for a couple of years, that was my experience. Just personal experience, again, I don't know how that'll translate. But again, you can always extend it,
Well, that's how I said, if we do
Always
the
extend it.
5:30 to 9, we can,
but
if-
again, I don't know how many serious, you know, I don't know how many 5 a.m.ers we got in the town.
I think we're a pretty eclectic group. Does anyone here work out regularly?
I do,
Okay, what time do you guys go to the gym?
right after work.
Right after work, you go at 8 a.m.?
I go work out.
I go like 7:30 every day. What time?
6.
6? Okay, what time do you work out? Like,
I'm up at 5 o'clock and out the door for work by 6.
okay, so it sounds like no one's working out in our community of our group of people before 6 a.m.
yeah.
But we know that there are people who do that.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean,
know
and
there's
I
a
don't
group
want
at
to,
Yeah, of
5:30.
course, that's what I'm saying, I agree with you. at
Donna
5:30,
pointed
yeah.
out some of the private clubs that are open at 4. There's a niche
24
there.
There's 24-hour clubs.
Yeah, right. So
Well, I
there's a
mean, if
niche
someone
there.
wants to get up, then I guess maybe Vasa is their gig.
Right.
Or work out at 2 a.m. like you go to Planet Fitness. Like, there's always gonna be outliers.
So there are facilities available for those. I don't want to.
I don't think we're gonna
Not-
I
capture,
don't, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna capture enough of an audience for a 4 o'clock opening. But I say, start out at 5:30, and if we have the demand and people want 5 o'clock, then we go 5 o'clock, 5 to 9, and then extend it on both ends.
I think staffing too, you know, to get, you know, a staff, you know, we'll have a custodian that'll need to be there and then a front desk staff, so. And that might not be an issue, but it could be, you know, the earlier morning.
So,
I feel like 5 is easier to swallow than 4:30 when it
5:30.
comes to the morning.
Get up at 5 and get here.
That's just me.
But,
So, I guess play it safe.
play it safe, 5:30,
5:30.
5:30 to 9. is what we're hearing.
and then 7 to 6, and then 7 to 6.
7 to 6.
And then we can extend on the front side of opening weekdays. Well, we got wiggle room on the rest of,
Sounds good.
Do we need to vote on
Do we need to vote on it?
7 to 6,
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday?
yes. I think even our library closes I don't think they're open on Sundays, and then I think they close Saturdays by 5.
People can come over to the rec center and read.
You got it. They want- No, but I'm just saying as far as, I mean, because they had not a demand for it.
Right, right. They might have been open years ago on Sunday,
Yeah,
but
they
nobody
were
showed up,
years.
so they adjusted. So, yeah, we could do that for sure.
So are we gonna do a vote separate for hours of operation and membership fees? Are we voting on both tonight?
Separate.
Recommend-
They're separate agenda items.
I mean,
For both?
Then you can break apart.
I'd vote on the hours, right?
Yeah, I would do them separate, they're separate agenda
Or do you
items.
think together?
Addendum. We're
So
gonna do
it's,
the hours.
you guys have hours of operation discussion, membership fees discussion, and then vote to make recommendations to the board of trustees. I would say those are 2 separate discussions, 1 vote, so that you're like, these are the hours and this is gonna be the fee, and it's bundled as opposed to having 2 different
Like, no,
recommendations.
2 different discussions, you mean, this is what we're recommending as a group. I gotcha. Rather than having 2 different discussions.
All right,
on
we
what-
can,
Okay.
we
Gonna
can
be a
talk
lot
about
of
Let's
the,
move into the fees then.
Move into the hard part.
no, it's easy.
So, I mean, we can vote on what we decided that we're gonna do Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 9?
Correct.
And then Saturday to Sunday,
7 to 6.
7 to 6.
Yes, we're
That's
taking
what we've
the,
decided
yeah, we're
to
taking
do.
the averages.
Okay.
The only thing we're changing is Monday to Friday. We're changing from 5 to 5:30, but otherwise we're accepting the averages in the bottom right corner. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
But we can talk about the fees then.
Yes, let's move on to discuss, fees discussion, and then we'll do a final vote on both to move it to the board.
So,
So fees.
So fees.
Sophie.
If you look at Glendale Heights, just I'll point out that the size of their fitness center is very close to the size of what the Villa Park Fitness Center will be, although the building is larger. Lombard, which is, in the town, right next door,
So does Lombard have a pool?
Lombard does not.
No.
Addison had a pool, and their fees were much higher, so I removed them from this list because we weren't comparing apples to apples.
Okay. So,
Will we have group fitness available
Yes.
as an add-on fee? Or was it included with the price and then the same thing for childcare?
So if you look down on the list,
Yeah.
there's, let's see, line 52 says group exercise included. So we will have group exercise. That's, something that we can decide whether you want it included with their fee or they would pay a fee for that. Childcare is up in the air because there's not, I don't have a consistent space.
I don't think you could do it.
I don't have a consistent space available every day right now at the same time, so it would be challenging. I couldn't, there's a lot of,
We could say no, like,
Right.
yeah, like,
Yeah, right.
I just didn't know if there was that allocated space and time
no,
available.
there
even if it's
isn't,
like
and the space
in
that we would
morning,
use for the kids, during the week, for sure, is filled from 8:30 in the morning until 4 o'clock. So that's a tough thing.
I used to belong to FFC and they only had childcare from like 8 AM to noon, and then they would break and have it from like 4 to 8 or something.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you wanted to think about, I personally don't care, like.
Yeah, we haven't,
There's not a space for it though.
we've
There's
gone
no
through
space.
like the schedule with the rooms and the programs that we intend to put in all of those rooms, and I can't find a consistent time and place.
Does it have to be consistent? Can it be, on Mondays, it's open from 9 to 11:30 in room 5, and then on Tuesdays, it's open from 12:30 to 1, but that's in room this. I say it only because the childcare, when they were smaller, we could leave home, we would make our schedule so we could go work out and drop the kids off.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's when we would go work out, so.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I don't have that. I don't even, because the classrooms are used for early childhood programs. Both of them are from 8:30 in the morning until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then at 4 o'clock, we have other programs that go, we'll have to clear those out with the early childhood, furniture and put other things in them. So I'm not done. I haven't given up yet, but I couldn't find something.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. I think that'll be a differentiator, only because if we look at the data of like the last 6 years, I always talk about this for the last 8 years. When my son went to Ardmore, there were 2 kindergartens. I think now there's 4. We're only getting younger, and the children are getting younger. So definitely just like one of those little things that could bring a person from going to a private gym or to one of these to come back.
Yeah.
To the park.
When we went in with at the beginning with the larger facility, and we had more classroom space,
Right.
it wasn't even a question. We were definitely doing it.
Space, yeah.
We had a birthday party.
We had a birthday party room.
The kids' room, right off the front desk
Yeah.
area.
So it's just it's just a matter of, finding that schedule. So like I said, I haven't given up yet, but I couldn't make a commitment tonight about that. What we
Thank you.
could
Yeah.
talk about is, do we want to make it part of the fee, or would we charge for it? Personally, I think there should be a fee involved.
When I was in Sycamore, we had childcare with the workout, but, sometimes we'd have staff there and nobody would bring kids. So you have staff, paying staff, and nobody's there. So I think, we made it then a part of a sign up. If you want childcare,
Yeah.
if you're gonna work out, you gotta call in, make a reservation, or what have you, so we know how many people are coming and
You have a limit on how many kids.
you have a limit too,
Yeah. I think you gotta kinda
So,
know.
to me, I'd rather keep it, separate than, and all-inclusive along with your membership, if we do the childcare, but right now, we're having
The space,
trouble.
then
Yeah.
why people
Trouble for
can-
space.
I am looking here, and there's only only 2 out of the 6 offer childcare. And I can tell you, just in my neighborhood, 1, 2, 3, 4 people that still work at home from COVID. And I think there's a lot more people working at home where the husband can go work out while,
Well, just because you work from home, you can't do that.
But it
So
is-
it's like, I'm in that situation,
Well,
I
well-
have to take my daughter everywhere, like,
Yeah.
that's why I went to FFC, because like, they had childcare, it's like the work.
but like a lot of people like are, they're in sales, so they just block out from 7 to 9, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
there's a different,
It's a different world than it was.
Everybody's got different situations.
yeah.
And
We just don't have the space.
The space or the staffing.
You know, maybe it's something that we think about, like, if there's like a huge demand later on, like, people are like, I would come here, but there's no childcare, then maybe we could shuffle things around.
Or
Just
maybe
like
we
the
need to
hours,
add on
yeah.
to the building.
Or add on to the building,
Well,
There we
that's
go.
planned.
is
to-
it?
Yeah, the terrace has been engineered to add 2 more classrooms on the second floor.
on the second
Well,
floor.
that would be good.
So that's the plan down the road. If it's 3 years, if it's 5 years, if it's 7 years, whatever.
Yeah.
If we're, all of a sudden, we need more program space.
I'm sorry,
We have the
what-
ability
what was
to
that?
add on to that terrace area.
Yeah,
Or childcare
and I think that
when-
you also have to look at like the
Yeah.
demographic of people who are working out with their children, like, who's at home and at what time, and yeah, I just don't know the demographic of like how many people, if you go, if you go to FFC, like, that price point for 1 month is more than, an entire year. So it's like, are we gonna get, like, it's just a different demographic, so I don't know if it is comparing apples to apples at that point.
Can I ask why you chose these 6?
I did because these 6 had the most in common with how they laid out their fees. They had family rates, they had senior rates, they had youth rates, they had, many of them, we had, pickleball was pulled out, which is something that's very popular now. So when I looked at all of, like, for example, the Addison's fees were very high, and they have an indoor pool, and I just that wasn't matching up with what we had. Elmhurst has the facility that they used to share with the hospital, but now they're just doing it, and they didn't have, like, membership rates, and their hours weren't as long. And so, I was looking for the agencies that most closely matched what we wanted to offer.
Okay, that's why I was wondering, because you gave us information on a lot of different park districts in an area like Schiller Park, which is probably the only one that's not a park district that you provide
Glendale
us.
Heights isn't.
Oh, Glendale Heights
That's
isn't
a-
either.
Glendale Heights is not.
Is not a park district either, okay, okay. That I just wondered why you picked those 6.
In Schiller
'Cause-
Park, you're right, it is a municipality, but their hours were really shortened. Like, they weren't like these hours here. They were much less.
9 to 5.
And I think they were like 9 o'clock, right? They opened?
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking why you gave us these 6, because they
Yeah, good
they best match what we're going to have and
Yeah, well, or what we're going to be able to
to
offer.
offer. Okay, that's what I wanted to know, what our comparison is.
Did the 20?
Because I know we asked you to match apples for apples, so
That's what I'm trying to do.
that's what I wanted to know, if that's why we got these 6 chosen down.
Question?
Did the
Mike.
20,
Do you have a question, Mike?
No.
did the 2,100 square feet include the walking track?
No.
No.
The walking track is in addition to that.
Did the other facilities include their walking track in the square footage?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, because some of these
I
are
would,
like
I'm
really
gonna say
big.
no. I'm gonna say if they have a suspended track like what we will have,
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna include that in their fitness center, because it's gonna be separate.
Yeah, it's usually like a separate.
It's a separate thing.
Just looking at population.
But if
square
you,
footage.
but if you have a membership, you can use the.
Right, no,
Yeah.
I just didn't know, 'cause
1, 2,
like,
3, 4,
yeah.
5.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of included, but you can pay it,
Lombard,
normally, like
Downers
where
Grove,
I work out in the
Glendale,
Geneva Park
Glendale
District.
Heights,
I'd
Westmont,
have to double check, I've
Louisiana.
never, like, got a membership just for the walking track. I suppose you
Yeah,
could,
right.
or pay it daily,
Yeah.
but I think there might be a,
I
I'll have
was-
to check
Right,
in.
no,
I was
that's just
asking
to
'cause I was
compare.
looking at
I
the
would say
different
we're
square
closer
footage.
to
Ours is obviously,
Lombard.
a fraction of the size of some of them, and averaging out the cost per square foot for the resident paid in full price, and just trying to compare it exactly to see, like, to get what an actual average price would be if we followed those averages. Sam, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I'm just looking at these, I'm trying to figure out the 2 that seemed most like us, looking at population and the square footage numbers. And, it looks like would be,
Glen Ellen?
Well,
yeah, I don't know,
Glen Ellen's
Westmont,
is much
23,000,
bigger.
25,000, 5,000. And then
Yeah.
Lombard, although obviously it's a much bigger population.
I was
Total-
looking at, yeah.
Total square fitness and the fitness are both a little bigger. So I don't know, I was just looking at those, thinking that, those might be a good comparison points, looking at Glendale Heights and Lombard,
yeah, I kind of looked at those as well.
those 2.
Yeah. So I just did a quick average, and it seems that all the park districts the average for the square footage, people are paying 5 cents per square foot. If you look at it for the line number 7, the individual rate, that's what I used to calculate that number
Okay.
off of, and the number 5 to get the average, so it's 5 cents a square foot. So if we went with that average, it would be $113.40 paid in full a year, if we went off of that average price exactly alone.
Yeah, that's
So-
not enough.
it's not enough. That's what I'm saying, but if you look at our square footage of 2,100, you know,
Well, maybe that, do we have?
like
yeah.
people, that falls in line with like the Downers Grove Park District is $5,200, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that that's enough money for, but that's what the average would be if we were looking at the square footage cost.
We just, we're just coming up with the membership price,
Yeah.
so just one price.
Well, I think we'd have to come up with the individual couples, family, and youth or whatever, senior, right, or no?
Yeah.
Would we be going off of the paid in full or the monthly price? Are we
I'm sorry?
Are we offering recommendations for the paid in full, the monthly, everything?
Well, I thought we would start with the paid in full.
Okay.
My thinking was that, once we got that, in terms of family, we could use a similar, my suggestion would be, is that we would use a similar breakdown as to how we do the pool passes, where there's a percentage, that they're individuals, percent less for an individual, when you had more people in the family, if that makes sense. So,
Maybe we're working at this backwards. What would you need to break even?
I mean, the facility itself is not designed to even break even for the first 5 years.
Well, so I'm not talking about capital costs, I'm talking about what the operational costs would be.
Yeah.
And what would, so, and I understand we have like a capital investment that we're gonna, pay off and depreciate over time and all that stuff, but just for, what is our operational burn rate? Per day, per month, how much we have to raise, how many memberships we have to sell to get that number? I mean, that's the business case we'd have to make.
Well, but we wouldn't just be basing that on memberships, because we have other things going on in the building, like preschool. So, I mean, kids that are coming, families that are coming for preschool aren't necessarily using the building for, for fitness, for coming and exercising and so forth. So this is, I'm saying this because we just had a meeting to discuss operational costs for the rec center, and what do we include and what do we not include? And, my thought was we include everything. Any revenue that we have coming in, I think, should offset the cost to operate the center, because all the programs are held there.
Of course. So then the question is, what is our baseline? So assuming we had normal participation rates, and I hope they're higher in the newer buildings.
Yeah.
If we had normal participation rates on the camps and, the childcare.
Yeah.
And whatever we're gonna do, like that stuff, what's that revenue gonna be? And is this selling memberships that people are mostly gonna use, not in the classrooms, but in the 2,000 or so square feet of fitness, plus, gym or whatnot, whatever it's gonna be, how much do we have to make it even?
So when I did the budget for the summer programs and the fall, winter, spring programs, after we paid what it costs to run the program, I think we had about $30,000 during the summer and maybe $40,000 or $50,000 for fall, winter, spring. That in my head then went toward the cost to operate the rest of the building.
That's profit you're talking about?
Yes, yes. So,
That's yearly, monthly,
that was for the year.
30K for the year?
Total it was probably 50,
Revenue?
yes.
Or
Net-
no,
net
profit, I mean, profit
Net revenue after expenses
was 50K.
for just the programs,
For just the program. So that's
Yeah.
that's our baseline revenue. I
yes.
get the calculator out.
So what's the average cost for memberships?
Well,
The average cost?
Yeah.
It's $312. It's $312 between all of them.
I mean, I thought we could have a good discussion on membership fees based on what other communities were doing, because if I say to you, well, in order to cover everything, we would have to have 2,000 memberships at $550 each. We're not gonna charge that.
We're not gonna make
How
that,
far, of
correct.
course not, but I'm trying to, how far are we? So, so basically, if we expect a contribution of 50K from the programs, right? Those are just gonna happen, we assume they'll keep happening, right?
Yes,
And so the overhead additionally to sell memberships for people to use the building in other ways, the cost is two full-time staff. 3 full-time staff?
3.
3. So we're gonna have a
Well-
front desk person.
No.
Well-
Anytime the building's open.
You can't have them there, or there shouldn't have to be a lot more
So-
staff than that, right?
technically, to have
The
the.
staff is built in,
We
for the
need two-
programs is built into that.
Yes,
revenue.
the staff is, yes.
That's
So
already
what-
taken into account for programs.
For
Yes.
programs, yes.
For programs.
For programs,
We're
that's-
talking about now for,
Building operations is a different animal.
Yeah.
Where building operations, you need a custodian on hand from the beginning of the opening till closing.
Mm-hmm.
And one in between. So there's gonna be 3
Because
custodians.
of how long we're open.
Right, so there'll be one, at the 5 to 1 shift.
well,
There'll be one in the
there'll
middle.
be 3 people, but I'm just saying from
Well,
5 to
3 on
9, we'll be
weekdays,
paying
2
one
on
at a time.
weekends.
There won't be 2 there.
so
There'll be 2 people at the front desk.
2 at the front desk and a
In case one
custodian.
person has to get up to
So
go
there'll
help
be-
somebody.
At any
or-
given time, we'll be paying 3 people
At least, at the,
at the minimum.
We'll have a dedicated custodian to our fitness center, is what you're saying.
not, well,
To
to
the
the building.
But the fitness center is only 5% of the building. So,
We need a-
like, I know that we need the custodian, but I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be wouldn't we just factor in that cost, so if we're not using them for?
Well, this is the conversation we're having,
Right,
like,
that
what
guy-
costs
This
are,
is-
you know,
That's what I'm
This is
saying,
a-
like,
A
I
monumental
think that we just like need to like
undertaking.
throw a number, like,
And
I
we're
we
getting
can't just
way
like.
I,
there's so
I looked
much-
at what I pay for
Yeah.
a senior,
That's the
for
question.
the year is $180 in Geneva. For and now they have a bigger rec center, it's newer, it's $217, for a senior rate. I can't admit I just said that, I'm a senior. Anyway, for adult membership at the Persinger Rec Center, which is kind of like ours with the basketball court and program space. So I think it's it's $317 per person. And the Sunset, which is a little smaller, is $265 per person. Now, they do have couple rates, and they do have, youth rates as well. But I didn't want to mess Gina's graph up here,
No,
but
no,
that's what I
that's okay.
pay, you know.
That's- and that's real life.
And, and actually, the size of the town of Geneva is roughly the same as Villa Park. It's 22,000 or 23,000 people. So,
but your
that's what I
EAV
do.
is higher.
yeah, it's higher, right.
No, I'm just trying to do like rough math, right? So we, basically monthly, from the program, we'll be able to take in a revenue of about 4,100 a month. If we had 3 people with fully loaded cost of 65K a person, I'm
Just throwing.
I'm just ballparking
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff, right? That 65K a person, fully loaded cost, that'd be about 195K a year, or 16,250 a month,
Okay.
right? So. we
You have the
took-
calculator, I
Yeah, so,
can't.
yeah,
Greg does great mental math, but I'm not as,
I'm not.
Yeah, not at 8:30 anymore.
yeah, for sure.
So if we take the 4,000 away from that, our monthly cost just to keep the building open outside of programs, assuming there's 4,000 of revenue contributed from programs, that's $12,000 a month.
And that
$12,150.
doesn't include utilities or,
That doesn't include
Right, right.
utilities, I'm yeah,
A
so,
million
But, and
variables.
we called Lombard, and we got Lombard's first year, memberships, second year memberships. I don't have that, you didn't bring that, did you?
I didn't bring it, no.
Breakdown of, and again, Lombard's twice as big, but what was your first year memberships? Every year it went up.
well, they had
But-
twice the population,
Yeah.
twice the possible members. So, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah,
So-
what was the starting, maybe that's the thing we should look at, because the biggest thing, I think, is just getting people in the door.
Yeah.
We can always raise prices.
Right, you want to make it affordable to residents too. That's what I'm looking at. For me, it's really affordable to go work out. And the rates have gone up steadily every year, but.
I think we'd want to select a rate that would seem you know, we'd be competitive with the other agencies. And then I would be in favor of offering for a period of time, like, you know, an entry rate for the people that are signing up for the first time to get people in the door. Because you gotta, you know,
Do,
You
that's
gotta
what
get-
Lombard did. They did an
Yeah.
entry rate when they first opened. And then all the, you know, park districts will do the, in subsequent years and whatever, sign up during the holidays, or, you know, there's a
Right.
a 3-week, you know, maybe right before Christmas or the January special where you get $50 or $75 off to sign up, you know, so people with their New Year's resolutions, you know, sometimes you don't want to do it around Christmas time, but, you know, January, I'm going in, you know, I still have a week to take advantage of, like we do for the pools, the early
Yeah.
bird registration. You know, it'd be the same concept. But you know, you want, you don't want to price everything too low, but you don't want to price everybody out and charge them $400 and they're not going to come work out.
Why don't we just go with the averages then?
Yes, I agree. I think we
Right.
should go with the averages, although I would like
think
to
the averages
ask.
are
I think
high.
the averages are high. If,
Yeah, no, it is.
Well, I don't know, because
I
I'm
really
not a
do.
member of
I
any
mean,
there. I
as
want to
an
know from the
individual
people who
rate
are.
for a year, I wouldn't pay $312. I wouldn't do that. And even the senior rate is a little high for people on fixed incomes. So, you know, I did look at I was comparing the rates at Glendale Heights, which seemed reasonable, and Lombard seemed reasonable, figuring, but our average rates seem a little high. But then again, I wasn't here for the discussion on what we need to cover it. I mean,
Yeah, so, okay, because just working the math I did, assuming
You know.
65K is loaded cost, we would need 552 monthly memberships to break even, which obviously we're not
Well,
gonna get, but.
Those numbers are a shot in the
Doesn't
dark.
matter right now.
No.
Right.
No,
Like, at-
'Cause we're gonna build the base.
From over there, it doesn't
No.
matter. It's
Okay.
just getting it established, understanding operations, the first couple years that we do, few years.
Oh, for sure.
I think we need to be, my feeling is we need to be competitive with Lombard. They're right next door.
Well, but that's a much bigger space. I was thinking we
Yeah,
probably
they
should be
do.
setting our prices closer to Glendale Heights.
Glendale Heights seemed, comparing
So,
what you're doing from
sorry, I don't
Lombard to
even-
Glendale Heights.
It's not about getting people from like Glendale Heights. There's very rare chance that a person.
No.
No, no,
I'm just
we're
doing-
comparing
But
rates here.
I understand that, but it's bringing people back from Lombards and whatnot, so it's gotta be competitive to the immediate area. That's gonna be the pace, and then you have to get just recurring people, like, if you end up, yeah.
Understand,
Retained.
and that's why we're
Retained.
looking at Lombard and compared to Glendale Heights on money, where the high side of Wheaton, you're talking about, you know, residents comparison of what they can afford. I mean, Villa Park doesn't
But let's
have-
just do a starting point of like $300 a year.
let's-
Let's just do that.
Can't run.
But if you look at Glendale Heights, though, Cheryl, to that point, they have the smallest facility, even smaller than ours, and they're actually per square footage, they're the most expensive when you
that's
average it
what I was
out.
thinking.
They're 1 cent per square foot. So that number, like,
Or
they look
76.
cheaper,
But as.
but it's
long-
not.
yeah,
It's not.
Yeah.
The cheapest one on here is Downers Grove Park District.
wow.
For the price,
Per-
per the
per
square
square
footage,
feet.
it's
Per the square footage.
Right.
.005 per square foot.
I wonder if we could take the average of Lombard and Glendale
Yeah,
Heights.
it's 230
That's
something.
476 divided
Yeah.
by 2 is, yeah,
230,
240 is,
240, yeah.
240
I'm just trying to find
is,
something that's somewhat comparable to us. Obviously, we want to be competitive, and I think that means cheaper than the local, some of
Right.
the other competitors, we get people back in the city.
if you did 240 or 250 or 300 even, and you give people a price break at beginning of the year,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
would think 250 would be a good price. I would feel comfortable with that. But
and then
would
you go
we
down,
continue
you
to give them a
$50 off,
discount,
it's
though,
$200 now.
For the monthly membership?
Because you want to make it affordable, right? That's what we want to do.
Right, but if we went to 250 for the paid in full, would you make it for the monthly membership?
Yes.
Because some of them, like Lombard, you
Month-
don't get a discount for paying monthly. You don't get a discount, and you also don't get a discount at Glen Ellen, and.
No, there shouldn't be a discount.
I'm just
It would
saying
be
that
more
there's not a
expensive.
discount, there's some
If you-
discounts
if
and some
it's-
aren't.
if
If you
it's
want, if you want, because there's more staff time to process,
Process it.
you know, a monthly, it's like going to Costco, you know, you're buying in bulk. I'm gonna save money if I buy my yearly membership, right, at $250.
Yeah.
And that's basically $20 a month, right? So, but and that's for the annual, you purchase annual. But if you're gonna do a monthly, it should be $40 a month or whatever it is, you know, whatever you decide on.
No, I was
you know.
asking if we were going to do that because
I don't know
Lombard
about
does
monthly,
not offer,
but
like
we can-
monthly, it's $23 a month at Lombard, and it totals to $23 a month if you pay in full, so there's no incentive to pay in full.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you wanna get
Yeah,
those,
We want to do the.
And we want to incentivize
you wanna get
Correct.
right, the people to sign up for the year,
Because you want their money.
you
Oh,
want
no,
them.
I understand
Right.
that, I was asking,
And
are we
that's
going
the
to do
benefit.
that?
What we're.
And we could break it down if we wanted to do a monthly, or we wanted to do, you know, a 3-month pass and a 6-month you know, 3 things, 3-month pass, 6-month pass, and an annual. Or we could do a monthly, 6-month, annual, or monthly,
Brian is trying to
3-month.
say is that we shouldn't give a discount for people that were doing, you know.
I just
No.
didn't know if we were going to, because
No,
if
we
you look
should-
at the
we
numbers,
should-
there are
You
some
should
places that
give,
are
you should
not.
give a price break to somebody that signs up annually,
Okay.
Right.
for an
Is what-
annual 12-month
Correct.
membership.
Maybe
and
10% off.
Right, but
I mean,
if
if
we're
we're at-
comparing
if
directly
we're
to
at,
Lombard,
like-
they're not doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree, we shouldn't be giving a discount
So,
to the, we want them to.
No, right.
So just looking at
But
the
they're already on the
individuals.
cheaper end at $23 a month, so it's like, I don't know, like, if we're gonna drop our rate to $250, that's $25 a month.
I think,
Well,
Like,
yeah, that'd be,
So-
so if we did $25 a
300,
month
that would be
times 12,
fair.
it'd be
oh, I'm
300.
sorry,
$300.
you're
So-
correct, I'm sorry.
With
My-
300.
You know, so if we did 250 for the individual
For the,
paid in
yeah,
full
yeah.
upfront, and then 25 for individual, then that's $300 total cost for the monthly payments. That's a 5%, is that right? Yeah, about a 5% increase.
Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
That's more than that, but
Well,
yeah,
it's
but
only
that, you know, that's a
$12
reasonable,
different
you're
than
only
the
paying, you know what, $2
yeah.
more than $23?
Yeah.
But still, it's,
You want to sell the annual memberships. That's what you want to
Two
sell.
coffees and start question.
Michael has a question.
Yes.
Michael?
so, shouldn't we go lower to get people in the door?
That's what, yeah,
no, we're
that's what
just
we're
talking about the standard rate, and then we would talk about the discount to get people in the
Yeah.
beginning.
So go
You're right.
Lower. So like 250 is what you guys were saying?
250 or 3 is right now is on the table, but
With, yeah,
We just went
250,
275, and then we dropped it down to like 225 to get them in the door.
220, early bird special,
Yeah.
225.
Yeah.
Or is that too low?
No, is that too low? Yeah.
No, I don't,
Do 300 and 250.
I think 275 when Lombard's is 276 is, I think we want to be a little bit lower than that.
250.
We did the average
than what?
between, lower than 276 and not by just $1.
I think
You know,
people-
Well,
something,
You
yeah,
want
I
us
think
to
we
be
should be
lower.
250
Okay.
without discounts for individual, and then, you know, the doorbuster
Yeah.
savings of 200.
I
to
like
start.
that. I mean, I don't mean to disagree
And
with
then-
you,
and then
Greg.
we can
I'm
do the
just,
math for the rest, but then,
Just throwing it out there, it doesn't.
yeah, just, I'm talking, just talking. And then for the individual monthly, we do 25 a month. 25 times 12 is 300, right? Isn't that
Yes,
right?
you're correct.
Yeah, 25 times 10 is 250,
Yeah.
plus 50 is 300.
Yeah,
Do
so-
$25 for the.
So 25 a month for, and I'm just talking individuals, we can math out the rest once we have a spreadsheet. But yeah, I would think that that's where we'd want to start with for,
No price break on a monthly. I mean, it's
No price
like,
break
like
on a
no,
monthly.
no deals.
no doorbuster
deals.
deals.
No, the doorbuster deal is annual
It's an annual
membership.
membership, so we'd do 200 to.
Could go for, you know, semi, if we do a semi-annual.
When we're doing these,
People don't want to work out in the summertime,
Figures.
just from experience of working at like a yoga studio, people buy in January and like, that's it.
January for
Yeah.
New Year's resolutions, spring motivation before summer, then the lull in the summer,
Yep.
and then back to school, fall, like right now, would be the time. I work out now more than I was last month because the kids were out of school.
you need a broken foot.
There's a decline, so we have three parts of the year
Fair.
that we can go to this special yearly sign up, and then, you know, in March or April, whatever it would be, then it kind of, you know, goes up a little bit or whatever it would be. So you're gonna have 3 opportunities starting in 2025 to get yearly memberships of people that are motivated at that time.
Right, and that's the benefit of, you're getting a little price break on the your annual membership. And, hey, you know, I know summers are, you know, difficult because there's so much going on, but, hey, you know, you can come in and work out at 8 o'clock at night or whatever on, you know, in the summer, because I've got a discount from paying for the annual membership. You know, so it's, even though that there's a lull in the summertime, you still have that annual membership, and you have the ability to come in, you know, as opposed to somebody that, you know, somebody says, okay, I know I'm not gonna work out June, July, August, or May, June, July, August, I'm just gonna go with the monthly at, let's say, $30 or whatever. $30 times 9 months is $270, you know?
Right.
So it's,
Yeah, I just.
I'd rather buy the annual membership then, it's
Right,
less
and
less
the-
costly.
And then in the summer, you can bundle, if you wanted to, a yearly plus the pool pass.
All right, now you're getting my head
I
spinning.
know, but I'm just, you know.
No, no, you're right.
They're pushing it. But yeah, but
It's not a bad idea.
generally, you're gonna have a lot higher numbers in the wintertime than you are
We
gonna
could use
have.
more.
Of course,
fast
yeah.
sales
As you,
anyway.
as
You see that all the time.
You see it all the time.
January, and then,
You know,
then
because that's
it
why
it
they
takes like
push that
6 to 8
January
weeks.
membership, yeah.
Takes 6 to 8 weeks to get into the habit of working out. And by the 8-week period, all the regulars in January are all ticked off, you know, because everybody's coming in there. But
Yeah.
by end of February, the people that are gung ho kind of, if you don't keep it, you know, you're going. That's where we have to motivate people to keep with it. You know, that's part of our job, but they'll kind of fade off and
Well, yeah,
not come
because-
back until, so.
Well, you're talking like Planet Fitness and all those clubs that they have the big bonuses around the new year when everybody wants to do that fitness type thing.
But Planet
By March-
Fitness,
Oh, I got that. But by March, everything falls off. And then you get the regular type people.
right, and
that
people don't
come
mind,
in,
the people that
don't
buy
mind.
Planet Fitness
Right.
they're paying $10 a month. You know, they don't care if they're not gonna work out.
Right, well, they don't
And-
care. I
and
got that.
then and
Right.
plus they make it hard, you know, if you say, I'm done with Planet Fitness, I don't wanna work out there anymore, and try to get your, you know, your membership canceled, that's a real, I've heard horror stories about people
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
cancel their memberships.
But I'm just saying that when we're talking about keeping our residents, which is what we're doing here, motivated in this building, which is, we kind of need to make it reasonable. And yes, I agree, maybe 3 different plans or times a year, but we need to make it, you got to realize the difference in people that what can afford, from Lombard to Glenbard Hearts to Villa Park. Because we have, you know, a different standard of what people can afford in this town. I mean,
I
we
disagree
can't
with
keep
that.
up with Elmhurst.
I completely disagree, because for 8 weeks of football, I think it's 8 weeks, I probably paid about $600 for my 3 kids to do it. Didn't think twice, and I still have to pay $75 each for fundraiser. That's just football. We also have soccer, we play everything. There is an appetite for something like this here, regardless of price, because we're seeing record numbers every year for the last 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. Gina just said it, we have more people signing up for things because a function of marketing and just better marketing in general.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we should,
So you don't
worry
think the
about-
economic standards of our village is different than when you're considering Lombard or,
so the
Elmhurst
average household income is going up here in Villa Park.
okay.
I'm from Elmhurst and grew up there, and like I, you know, would love to afford a $3 million house, but like I'm just a regular person, and so like we bought our house in Villa Park. So not that we don't have any money, like I grew up there, but like I think that there is a shift everywhere happening. So it's like, yeah, like there are people who want to spend money here, and
Okay.
they're willing to
We
spend
don't
money.
want
That's my
to,
only
we don't want
concern.
to price it too low, but here's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
you know, if our memberships are, we can always do like a summer blowout sale. You know, if, hey, we want to bring in people, come in the summer and register.
Yeah.
Buy your annual membership, because people aren't gonna, everybody's not gonna buy their annual membership in January. It's all year long.
like
And then
what
you
you
have a
said.
blowout. Hey, you know, our
Someone may be
$400 is
turning
too high,
50
you know.
and 50 in April and want to turn themselves around,
Well,
or,
I think that like George's on board, like he
Senior trips are
is
pricey.
right
I
with
can't
like
afford them in
January
full.
and the beginning of summer, because like people are like, oh my gosh, like I have to get
Much
food
money on
bathing
the
suit.
seniors.
And
Right,
like
right.
we're going on vacation, and then it's just like, by the time that like July hits around, you're just like accepting of what you look like. And then like you get motivated again when the kids go back to school. And it's just like people wanna do that, so I don't know if like midsummer would be the ideal time to do it, because people.
Midsummer, like,
Plans.
special.
Yeah, I
We can
think
always-
that like a spring, like he said, a spring special would be good, like
Well, but
having
here's the
those-
thing,
'cause then
but
you
we're
get three
having-
opportunities
But
But
to
we
sell.
have, we're already having a holiday special, like sign up before January 2nd, and you got, so to have another special 3 months later, 4 months later, you know, you should only do a few specials a year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think it's
free.
gonna depend on
Yeah.
how
Don't
many people
even have
sign
a
up in
rate.
the
It's
first
free,
place.
and that is a
Doing
few,
specials.
and
You
like,
package it with.
January, beginning
January,
of summer
spring,
and school.
then school year.
Because then you have a
Yeah.
combo. You do, it's the
at
summer.
the
Well,
yoga
let's,
studio
we
where
need
I
to,
work,
we
it
we can,
literally is cyclical,
we can,
where like.
we can
that-
pick
that's
out,
like
we
how
can
it
figure
goes.
that out later.
Yeah.
Let's just get to a
Yeah,
point.
okay.
Let's get to a point where what's the base that we want to charge individual membership for? Is
Resident.
it $300, annual membership? Is it the average?
$250.
Christine has a
Well,
question.
I do have a question because
a comment.
I feel like Gina put a lot of effort into this. She had a sound basis for her comparisons of what she did compare. So personally, I don't have a problem using the averages. I, however, do need to defer to anybody in here that has a membership because I have no basis for comparison in my own personal world. So if people who are in the room have memberships and look at these averages, you people feel that the averages are way out of line. Because this is a monumental undertaking to start with. You can see by how many line items we have. But I think we're also commingling two extraordinarily important issues that the whole puzzle's not going to get put back together today. Because I would agree with Sam in that you've got operating costs and you have a lot of other components that we don't have all the line items for, nor do we need to for the decision we're trying to accomplish tonight. Are they huge and integral to Parks and Rec and how the whole thing pans out financially in a year? Oh, for sure. And I think the village manager is gonna wanna see the whole puzzle, but I don't think it plays into the decision we're making with the rates, because if it did,
Why don't we-
we'd blow it out. I
why
mean,
don't we do
we
this?
can't afford that.
So we've been working the last couple months on operational costs and programming costs. So we can finish those costs. Brian's staff, 3 custodians, whatever it is, all that stuff. And so we have a base, here's our operational costs to run the building. And we can provide that,
And then start dividing out stuff.
and, right, because it's tough to make a thing without those numbers.
It's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts.
Right, but if we can give you, okay, I mean, this is the operational cost that we've come up with to keep the building running, and where are we at with memberships as a portion to help cover the costs of the operations.
So my question is that if you look at the individual, because we could be here from now till next
Right.
Christmas doing every line item,
Right.
but whoever has a membership, and Jorge, you may have one for 3 people or 2 people or wherever you fit in this, if you were to look at the average column for the type of membership you and/or your family have, are you feeling like those are realistic averages? And Greg, it sounds like you have a membership, and if you have a membership, I just would be interested in where you kind of fit in that average. And do you feel like it's out of line?
I feel like this is a steal.
A steal? You feel like it's,
Yeah, I know that like you're not getting like personal training or anything, but I think
Oh, no.
$250 a year is a great price.
okay?
but we
I
lowered
pay
it
more than
from
that
our
in 2
average,
months
yeah.
than I do like for my memberships and like.
And is it an individual?
Yeah.
So you're looking at an individual at 312 and you don't feel like
No.
that is
She would
extreme?
I pay
charge
$160.
$250.
I pay $160 a month to go work out.
Okay.
And then the yoga studio that I work at, that I go for free because I work there, it's $160 a month too. And then at FFC, I paid $160 a
Well,
month.
FFC, so you're at a,
Well,
a
and you may
private.
get other stuff.
That was a
so-
private,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm at a private
But-
gyms,
yeah.
I know that it's not a comparison
Right,
to
right.
No.
that, but I'm just saying that, like, I
FFC
think
has
that that
got
is great,
really
like, if
nice.
you're just going to work out, like, look at the, I think it's a good price at $250.
It's a great price.
Yeah, like, I don't know how much cheaper it can get.
So,
But-
Especially if the showers are nice.
I paid $217. It's a senior rate a year.
Those facilities are so nice and convenient.
Right, and that's, for a senior, I paid $217. It's a
Mike
great,
has
that's
a
a bargain.
question.
I love it.
Yeah, like,
That's a
that's what
great-
I'm saying.
That's a great deal.
$117 a
Uh,
year.
In a,
Versus $235. What's the
an
school with the
adult
average?
pays $317.
Michael has a question.
Gina, what would you recommend?
I'm not supposed to make a recommendation.
I recommend we go with the
But after,
averages.
since we've been talking, I personally, I think the average is a little high. For the individual, I would like to be at 250.
I'm okay with
I
250
like
as we
a pretty
brought
big
down.
drop.
The average seems a little high for me, and that's because we threw in, when you put the average in, you threw in some of these.
250 is,
They're a little high.
and
And
if,
250
it could
is
be
fine
less
for
expensive if you get those early
Yeah,
birds.
Right,
If you're
early
really-
bird
you're
thing. I don't have a problem with 250
Everybody's
when
gonna
you're
counter from
talking.
now till
250
midnight.
would be an early bird special, might have.
Yeah?
That is an absolute steal. It's beautiful.
But here's the thing, George. You know, we-
I have no personal trainers, and but just to get in and out.
Right.
And take a shower, work out, walk, run, maybe shoot some open gym.
But here's the thing, so, because it's the first year, you do 250, and,
Then
next year, I
there-
mean, this is it's infancy, we're gonna grow. Just
that's
like
gonna make you
Elm-
mad.
Lombard raised their fees,
I get
you
it.
do that, you do 250, and then next year, you,
Right.
if
the
you need to,
initial
you.
rate,
you-
we could,
you-
if you start off
But
initial to
we're
get them in
under,
the door.
we're under,
It's like people are doing with the cell phone
it's a very good
Right.
price.
And-
People,
you know,
and
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 then
then we
they
can,
hook it up and it
you bump it up,
aggravates the heck out
where
of me.
you bump it up, let's say $50, just for the sake of argument, you bump it up in 2026 to $300, but you can still get $50 off on the early bird, and still at $250, which is still a bargain.
Yeah.
know,
So
so-
we
That
would
would be
go at
okay.
250 for the paid in full, 25 for the monthly. I mean, those are nice even
Yes.
numbers too.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's $300, yeah,
Yeah.
if you, yep, so you're saving 50 there.
That's good.
Because you're still gonna get those residents right now that in their mind, they paid for that rec center, and now you're asking them to pay more to become members.
Yeah,
So I,
But at
you
least,
know,
like,
I would
because
like to
the
get it
rec
to a
center was built, the
reasonable-
taxes didn't go.
But you
Nobody's
can say
taxes
that, 'cause,
understand.
like, I'm gonna
Taxes
join
didn't go up.
programs, I'm not gonna be like, let me sign up for a program for free, because we already paid for this.
Oh, I got that.
Right, right.
But, I mean, we're trying to get our residents in the door, and
Yeah,
then
so
after that
250.
point, we can, figure out
More
your
everywhere
cost.
else.
Huh?
Anywhere else.
Yeah,
Pay
anywhere
more
else.
Anywhere else.
Except Glendale Heights.
But
They're 100 square feet like smaller than us too.
Yes, you're
And
right.
how old is the facility?
And you have to drive that way.
Yeah.
No, I just was saying, just in general, that's the only one that's less than 250.
But square footage wise, it's the most expensive.
Interesting, yeah. But their facility is pretty big, so I don't know.
The rest of the building, because it's a 60,000 square foot building.
Yeah.
What do they have that makes it so big? They have more than one basketball court?
Yeah, they do.
They have
basketball
two.
courts.
I think they have a huge basketball court, don't they?
They have two
More than one,
basketball
don't they?
to Glendale Heights,
basketball
They have
courts.
two.
Two
main-
full-size.
Two
two
full-size.
full-size courts, I think.
Like right next to each other.
We need to set an objective of what we're trying
Donna
to
has-
I played
accomplish here.
basketball there
We're
before,
gonna
now I'm
be
thinking
trying
about it.
to see the debate.
Donna?
I think,
They're doing it.
you know, we're averaging with park districts that really are not even close to what we have. I mean, because they're all over the board as far as foot and square footage and all that. I say we go with Lombard's price, but instead of like 276, make it 275. Instead of it being 432, make it 430. Just, you know, have the number end in 0 or 5, and then just do the 10% paid in full. Do like a percentage paid in full or the specials throughout the year, a percentage off.
That's a big decrease. It's $100 for the family
That's
one.
also, they have more than twice the fitness
If you have
center
275 and you take, 5 or 10% off, you're at where you want to be at the 250.
Well, my thought was 250 would be the standard rate for the first year, and we'd offer some type of an incentive.
250 if it was paid in full or as an individual.
No, paid in full.
space. Paid in full.
Just a regular price, 250. And if we were going to offer like, the New Year's Day, special, we would do a
10%
10%,
discount or
yeah.
whatever, that's
No,
225.
but yes,
So
25 is-
basic,
25.
Can't
so
beat it.
basically, if you did 275 and you offered a percentage off for the residents paid in full,
That'd be let's say 10%, it's roughly $250.
250,
so that's where you want to be.
yes.
So here's my question. We've got an extensive spreadsheet here. What are we hoping to propose to the board? Because we've probably just spent an hour and a half talking only about the individual. So what is that board presentation going to look like, and what are we hoping to accomplish before the end of this
I think if you
meeting?
establish the individual rate, then everything will fall into line.
Right.
The monthly
It's all
will
a
fall into line, the
percentage,
seniors,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
seniors will fall into
Same
line, what
ratio.
discount you want to give the seniors.
That's the primary thing we need is the resident individual for a year. And then the other things, I think, will very much fall in
I
line.
mean, we have
Yeah.
time, if we want to extend this discussion for the next commission meeting, we can, because then we're going to have, the last meeting in October. When is the brochure, when are you working on winter, spring brochure?
We're doing it right now.
So, but if we do at the end of, when is your deadline to get information in the brochure? End of October?
Let me think. We talked about this today.
First draft.
First draft
This
is due
week.
next week, this week, end of this week. Normally, the winter, spring brochure is out and ready by Thanksgiving.
No, November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So end of October, is it
Yeah,
doable?
it is.
To get,
'Cause I can-
you know,
we can
input?
put a-
Unless you guys want to, if you decide on the thing right now, we
I
can do
would
that.
like the
Make a
input.
recommendation.
I'd say let's do the individual and then plug in everything you said will fall into place from there. Because if we extend this meeting into October
Yeah, that's fine.
and
It's
then
just
the
a-
board doesn't
Right. We can-
accept it in November, then we're really,
Well, that's just,
When is the board, we have to make a proposal to the board's got to decide.
yeah,
Well,
well,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
We would, whatever you decide tonight, I believe we would probably present,
We would write up the memo and make a recommendation after
Yeah.
discussion.
so if we
The-
can
the
establish
commission-
the individual, then you can do everything by percentages and fill in the rest.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
When could you actually provide us what that sheet of what it's, I mean, Brian would have to
Like
figure out-
operations?
Yes, I would
Well-
like to
well, we're
know
not
the
quite done with
Yeah.
that. We've met twice, but we haven't,
We have to have another
When
meeting.
are you looking to have that
Well,
figured
I was
out?
waiting to hear back from
From-
Village Hall, to find out when we're gonna take the
I would
next
say
step.
within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but that's not going to impact our individual price for membership. It's a huge,
No.
it's a huge,
Yes, it would.
it's a huge
well,
piece. No, because
well,
we
we're
can't
gonna-
It
divide
would
it
just give you
out.
an idea of what
We're
the
going to be a loss
operations.
leader. It's going to tell you how much money you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be able to
You can't
open this
divide it
thing on
out
day
and make
one
it
and
up.
make money.
No,
We're going to
we
break
won't.
even.
No.
No,
won't
we
break
redid
even.
that feasibility study 7 years ago or whatever it was,
Right.
and they gave us the breakdown of everything, so. And
So I'm
and
gonna-
it's 5 years to build your
It's 5
clientele.
years to
I think it was
build it up.
5, wasn't it 5?
Correct.
I thought it was
At
5.
least 5.
3 to 5,
Michael has a
It sounds
question,
like the individual rate should just be
250.
250 to get people in the door.
Yes.
we were talking, was it 250 or
said
275?
275.
And then a discount?
250.
We were
Oh.
talking
Well, I said
250.
250. You
We
said
were talking-
275.
I wouldn't go that low. I'd go 275.
So I think
All right, who says
250
250?
on the 25 on-
I
I mean,
say,
I don't have a vote, so.
Just straw
Wait,
poll?
is this just like 250, no early bird discount?
No
Just
discount.
like-
Oh,
Just the
that, just the
cost.
standard rate.
For year one,
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
year one.
year one.
We're gonna raise it next year unless this
Yeah,
goes
but see,
horribly
then I'm
wrong.
starting to feel like I'm the cable company.
January.
You start raising it like
Well,
that and
the rate's
people are
gonna
gonna
go
get
into
mad.
Yeah,
December
but that's
to-
not out of
to
line with
bring that
other
thing on.
park districts, but they don't do it all the time, but they might have
Always
a
go up.
$10 bump.
I
It's
mean,
not like they're gonna,
They're
you know,
doing
come
a
back and say,
push.
here's, you're gonna owe us $100
Mm-hmm.
more.
Opens.
Because
usually
that's what
like-
the cable company does. They get you in and then all of a
No,
sudden in a
just-
year,
yeah.
your bill
No, I
went
get
up
it.
$100.
membership, and then we
I do feel like that.
And
like,
people
if you're
will
gonna
leave
do
us
it
and
in
go
a year,
stream.
It's just like, why not just do it now?
Stream your workout.
Well, the difference is we'll have data next year to figure out how good an idea that was or not,
Just like we do the pool passes.
because we're kind of guessing
I
right
think
now.
if our
We do the
base,
pool
I think if our
passes
base
every
is
year.
250, you set the that's the early bird, and you set the other rate at 275.
I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Because then people can take advantage of the early bird and get it for 250.
Yeah.
And the people that don't care, the people that have money or whatever,
75.
It's the ones that
Is
have
what
money
you're
that don't
talking?
want to spend it.
So we're going 275 now.
that's your base, but with the early bird
bird, you
discount
can
would be
go to-
250. And that's
so
not,
let's do 275, and then with the discount,
Would be
early
250.
discount, 250.
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Lombard is 276, and their fitness center is more than twice the size of ours.
Right.
Their population's twice as big, so there's not gonna
yeah,
be as
so they're
many
drawing
people
more
here.
people.
I'm
So
just
they can
saying-
offer at a discounted rate. And plus, look at Yorktown and all the tax
Oh.
base that they're bringing
Get
in.
those-
They've got
No,
a
they're
ton of
not.
money.
Oh my
Yorktown
God.
is a ghost town.
But they
Well,
also have.
they've
they
got-
provide for
Oh my
twice as
God,
many
they're going up
people,
like
so they have twice as
Right.
much space.
And they've got-
We have a smaller
Rabbits.
population,
They've
so
got
we have
a-
a small space, but our amenities are the same.
And they got a bigger tax base, so they've got more money coming into the park district. We have to fight for, money with, not fight, but we've got police, fire, everything. Lombard Park District doesn't have any of that. They can offer.
They pay their taxes
They-
as a park district, they're just not
the re-
budgeted like us.
The residents pay their taxes to a park district, so they got a whole pool of money there.
Yeah, they have extra
So that's a
money
different,
they
you
can
you
talk.
could say that Lombard's only charging 276, but they've got a lot of different revenue streams than we have.
Well,
And
they
so,
don't get sales tax revenue like a municipality.
We don't-
Twice the
yeah,
I'm
but
just
we-
saying,
though.
they get individual homeowners
they're
paying
getting real
taxes.
estate taxes.
But if they
That's
have
right.
two people coming in for every one person of ours, of course they're gonna have to have twice as much space.
Right.
Well, but I think the.
Great point.
Part of the goal, I think that George brought up was, we want to make sure that we can entice people to leave Lombard and come to ours.
Yeah,
So there's people-
$25.
Well,
20, if they
hold on a
pay-
sec.
Our people to stop going to Lombard.
The people that,
Well, not to go to Lombard is
Yeah.
the other way around.
if they have a non-resident fee for Lombard, if you're a Villa Park resident. Non-resident is $348.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if you're
there
from
you go.
Villa Park, you're paying $348 to go to Lombard.
So even if you use
So we're-
the average at 312,
Are we
it's still
saying we're
cheaper
looking
for
at
them to come here.
You're paying $100 less
I like
to
that.
come here.
So we're retail 275 is what we're saying.
Retail, and then you give the
Whatever
discount.
discounts we give later, but
Promotional.
promotional, doorbuster deals in the January or whatever, but,
75, 250. Time of year.
so we'd be,
Oh, this
2 years, there's a big development going in across the street.
I know, and we just can't seem to stay
Huge amount of
focused.
people. By that time, we should be at like 325, 350.
so we're
I have
we're
a
looking at
question to ask.
275.
Does Lombard's Fitness Center have a basketball court in it?
They have
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
They have all this stuff in it. So they have basketball, they have
Pickleball.
the fitness center,
Yeah.
pickleball, everything in that.
Yeah,
building.
that
You can't use it all the
building
time. They have
is
a lot of clubs that
dedicated for
practice
just
out there.
athletics.
They have like a
And
lot
There's
of.
no classroom.
At Madison Meadows, like my
They have
sisters
all
play
those
vol, they
things.
played volleyball out of there, so it's like they were there like 3
Mike
nights
has a
week.
question. Could,
Yes, Mike?
So are we coming to a decision?
No, but you know.
Good point, Mike.
275.
You know what's
275.
interesting, though, Greg, you made somebody over here made a really good point, and when we look at these numbers, again, I'm okay with the averages personally, but if you do want to, we've had a lot of conversation about Villa Park residents using Lombard Park District programs and such. And if you do look at that individual non-resident, which is what our Villa Park people would be paying to go to Lombard, you're at 348. So, I mean, I'm not stuck on that average of 312. We can do 275 or whatever we want. But that 348 is going to be relatively higher than any number we're picking to bring them back into Villa Park. And I think that's
Right.
interesting and important.
Of course, yep. And if they're whatever recreation programs, they're paying a non-resident fee, just like any park
Right.
district. That's standard. They charge a non-resident because non-residents aren't paying taxes to the whatever park district. So, yeah, so like Georgia mentioned, if there's people from Villa Park that are going to Lombard or Elmhurst
There's a
or wherever.
lot of people on the kids are.
They're coming here at
Mighty
$250 or
Mac.
$275
It's a year.
or $300.
Save money, come back at the 250, and then, or if you're on a family plan or whatever it would be, like, you save hundreds of dollars coming back, and that puts you to buy more classes, you know, a personal trainer.
More money in your pocket.
whatever. Yeah.
You wanna do a pickup game of basketball?
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, a cooking class, like, now you have a little bit extra money to put in there, so you still spend the whatever the family rate.
But you're spending it all here
You're spending it all
versus,
here, and you're getting extra stuff.
I mean, that's $75 a year. If you look at 350 and we were gonna say 275, you're talking a $75 a year savings to come back. So I don't know, do we think that's a lot? Do we think that's a little? Do we want to stick with 275 or?
Boy, so-
I don't think we should go higher than 275.
And that's
Not to-
fine. I don't,
I mean, what you said was the discount of 250 for them from a 275.
I think we keep coming
and
back to
as-
those
as
numbers.
Jose said, that's a bargain at 250. So if they jump on that 250,
And it's the first year, like we talked
a
about.
first year,
If
and
we're way
every year-
underpriced,
right,
we, you know, not that we're planning on raising the fees, but.
but you've got them
we have
enticed that they like our
Yeah.
facility and they know everywhere else is more expensive.
Right.
So
It's a
are we
good-
good at 275 with a 250 startup?
Yeah.
Going once,
fine with
going
that.
Take a
twice?
straw poll.
I'm fine with that.
Do a consensus.
Yeah.
Are we also gonna vote on like the ongoing monthly is $25? Are we good with that?
I thought we were gonna drop those into place once we decided what the individual
Well,
was.
just-
Yeah, it's
It's
20
whatever
to-
we I would argue, whatever, for the monthly, for the individual, we just take whatever we decide for the paid in full, you just take that, add 5%, and then, or something, you know, whatever the right number is, and then add that in. That's how I got from 250 to 300 earlier. So 275 times, you know, 1.05 divided by 12, whatever that is.
Yeah, everything's gonna have to be readjusted,
Yeah.
basically.
Something like that, but, so are we, I think we're getting close to a consensus that the individual is gonna be 275.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty
Paid in
comfortable
full
with
250.
that? Paid in
An-
full.
annual.
No.
No,
Paid in
Annual.
full, 275,
Yeah,
discount from there.
Yeah.
yeah,
and then
so
we can-
250, you know, for the,
Full.
at the beginning, you know, when we're trying to get people in.
Right, for the full year is 250.
Yeah.
In advance,
The promotion, yeah.
yeah.
If you sign up early, you know, before January, whatever we
date
decide,
you decide.
you
They
you
do it
take,
for 250.
it goes down to 250
Okay. So
annual,
are we,
not the monthly. If you pay monthly, you're just paying the regular rate.
So what we
Right.
could do is, if you make a recommendation and we do the 275, 250, I can go back and then figure out how those other things fit in, how those other pieces fit in. And, I mean, I suppose, when do we want to go to make the recommendation to the board? We're not doing that on the 23rd.
No, we'll do that on the first meeting in October.
Okay.
So
So
can
if
I
we
make
do
a
the-
motion?
Sure.
I'm just wondering if the group doesn't want to see how the pieces fit
Yeah.
together?
We can send it
Yeah.
out, and then if anybody has any comments, you know, and everybody says, this is great, then when we write the
Okay.
memo, say, everybody is in favor, we sent this out, this is the price breakdown
Okay.
for
I just want you to be able to
individual,
see it
monthly,
after.
Yeah, I
and
think
seniors,
We should.
and family.
so,
I would like the, whenever you can get it together to see it, I know it has nothing to do with this, but I would like to see what it comes down when you do figure out what the operation costs
Yeah.
will be. for-
Yeah,
It'll
we'll-
be in a few-
we
yeah,
will
we'll
definitely share
send
that.
Yeah.
When we're done,
I mean,
when we're done
I
with
just
that
wanna,
budget.
would like to see.
That's been
that
like a
operating
2-month
cost.
process already.
Well, I
Yeah.
know, it's a long run process, but I still would like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see
yeah, we'll
that.
send that to you.
It's a
So
bit
that
of a
we
guess
can see
until it
that.
starts.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
We're
I'm
doing
hoping
the
we are.
275, 250, and then you're gonna do the percentages for the rest of the
Right.
chart. Beautiful.
I'd like to make a motion that we take a consensus vote on agreement of those numbers.
Should we also include
And-
the
And the hours.
But we gotta
Operating
do the
hours, yeah.
hours.
So there'd
Oh, the
be,
hours, yeah.
So I mean, so those, what we're voting on is the 275 as the retail price, discount to 250 for individual memberships. And then the operational hours will be as listed in the averages on this document, with the one change, we'd be opening at 5:30 instead of 5.
So, yeah,
I gotta
5:30 to
read that,
9.
just to make
5:30
sure.
to 9 on weekdays.
Friday.
Be all the
7
other
a.m.
averages hold, but the only
7 to
change is the,
6.
Just for the record, 5:30 to 9,
5:39.
Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
6 p.m.
Sorry, 6 p.m.
6
Take
p.m.
that.
And 7 to 6 on
Six is
Tuesday,
the
on Sunday.
7 to 6.
All right, so I have a motion,
I'll second it.
second it.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None opposed? Consensus passes? Is that the right word? Okay. Good. That wasn't as painful.
Good discussion, thank you.
Discussion, yeah.
So, the new business, and Cheryl had made the motion to amend the
Oh,
budget.
gosh.
Okay.
So we probably
It is.
bring up the
I'm not going to see any of the debate.
Yeah.
You can rewatch it, it'll be on.
I'm
yeah.
recording it.
So, I'm sorry, Frank.
Yeah, so,
Sam.
yeah, moving on, next is new business with budget,
Commission budget.
It's
commission,
just the
commission budget?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just the commission budget, which I felt, we should, it hasn't been used in the past,
No,
but
It has been.
it pays
has been-
to have a,
We use the Recreation Commission budget to pay for the secretary, in this case it's Kathy, to do the recording and typing.
Get the minutes.
And to get the minutes.
Okay.
So,
Do we also pay for the video recording?
no, that doesn't come out of, that comes out of
Budget.
Village Hall. Yeah, it comes
Okay.
out of Village Hall.
Okay, so that's,
So that's where normally the commission budget is $1,000. And that's where, years ago, we didn't even have a recording secretary. So we never used that $1,000, so. But that's where that budget goes. One of the things that talked about a little earlier was if you have any things that the commission wants to do, like, for instance, in January, we have our annual Illinois Park and Recreation Association Conference, educational workshops and the vendors. If any commissioners are interested in going to that, we would, I would certainly add it in the budget and look for direction from the village manager. So if anybody's interested in educational sessions and, you're all part of the recreation process, it wouldn't be a bad thing to attend. That being said, we're all Illinois Park and Rec Association members, so to register for the conference is a little less expensive than non-members. And so non-members, to attend a conference, if you attend a conference on Thursday, it's $270. If it's a Friday only, it's $505, and if it's a Saturday only, it's $545. If you want to attend all the days, it's $700. So I don't know why, I haven't looked into it yet, why each day is more expensive. I think maybe because
well,
there's more
Thursday.
workshops.
Yeah, Thursday has like the morning and the afternoon.
Yeah, well,
And Friday and
Thursday,
Saturday-
there's no workshops in the morning, it's the pre-conference workshops.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But you have to pay for those too. But Saturdays and Sundays, they have workshops throughout the whole day. But if anybody's interested in attending, we can certainly put that in the budget and you can attend. And it's usually held downtown at the Hyatt Regency. But that would just be for the conference registration fee. That's it. And if there's any other ideas that you want to use, commission, if you wanted to up the budget, then, you know, here's the time to talk about it.
I just think from a general process perspective, all of our commissions have budgets, and I've never honestly been privy to any discussion about what they are and what they've been used for on a line item basis. And I just think from a general practice perspective, every year at this time, we should be looking at a line item. Is the budget for, let's use our commission, because that's our concern at this point. What is the budget? How much of it have we used or did we use last year? How much have we used this year and what do we use it on? How are we feeling about it? I've never, ever been in a meeting.
You're talking the commission budget.
Yeah.
Commission
the
budget, we
commission
use.
budget should
we
be
use
discussed
to
and
pay
presented.
for the recording secretary.
Right, but my feeling is as a commission, we should be getting a report on that at this time of the year every year, saying, hey, how are we doing? We get $1,000. Do you think we should still get $1,000? What did we use it on last year? What are we using it on this year? And are we okay with it? I mean, I don't have a problem with it because I've never seen where it's
So-
gone.
I'd like to give that report right now.
$900 goes directly to
So,
them.
So there you go.
The commission budget, the person that, like Kathy's filling that role now, gets paid $75 to attend and record, and over 12 months, that's $900. So that's where our commission budget goes, for the $1,000. So, and that $1,000, I don't know who came up with that years ago, it's always been 1,000. But that's our budget. So, if you wanted to up the budget, or you want to do different things, now's the time to talk about that, and we.
One time I thought it was 15, and we lowered it to 1,000. No, it's
I don't
always been
remember.
1,000, okay.
Maybe Cheryl, I don't recall. It's always been 1,000 from what I can remember, but I'm a
So
senior.
the upshot of
I'm a
that story is
senior,
Cheryl
so
needs
I-
this
I thought
by
at one time it
9/27.
was 15,
So if anybody
and then
wants
we
to
decided
throw something
we weren't
in,
using
now's
it,
the
so it
time.
went down to 1,000.
Could be, we have to double check. I can go back, but that's what it
Maybe
is.
September
So
27th.
if there's something anybody wants to do, or,
20.
you know, a commission event, you know, or,
According to the
know,
Verizon Wireless Network.
we're all ears.
I'm thinking if you go and ask Matt for any more money after Lufkin and the Recreation Center, he's gonna swat you right upside the
No,
head.
this is a
No,
commission,
this
this
has
isn't
nothing to do
recreation,
with
this is
it.
the commission. This
This
is
is a
separate.
commission budget.
This is separate.
It doesn't matter.
The fund
They're
commission asked
Yeah.
for more money because they're doing some events.
The only
you
thing
know,
I could think is maybe
so.
asking for a little, maybe like, but I don't even know if we have the people to man it, like the, being that we're gonna have the new rec center, like when they had the big, the police nights out, maybe have a table, at events, different events with our brochures to kinda entice people, or
That
with
wouldn't
price
be,
sheets, that would be.
unless your
adver-
commission wants to,
Yeah,
do
we've
you
been
talk
doing
about
that
the commission,
anyway.
is the
Some
commissioners
fussy
attending that?
No, as far as putting up tables.
That'd be a different
Right,
budget then,
it would
right?
be a different type. No, I'm just like the.
I mean, you do it at Summerfest.
October.
We already
then
do
We
it.
could put a table up as a commission. at
Yeah,
the-
but that wouldn't impact the budget.
Yeah.
But, no,
then-
but I'm like, you know, like, the police department gave away, like, you know, the mugs that change color, maybe with the phone number to the new recreation center.
Talking about items.
Some tchotchkes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We got
We're gonna do
$100 in the budget.
Yeah.
But we can
But
up the
they
budget a
already do
couple
that.
hundred if you wanted to buy tchotchkes.
Yeah, no,
that's. I
But we
mean,
do that anyway. We
Yeah,
got
you do it
shirts and-
anyway.
Okay, so let's just keep it as is. I'm good with that.
yeah.
Let's not make up reasons to spend money.
I mean, unless you guys want to go, we could send the chairperson and the vice chair to the old committee downtown. for the
That was just
conference.
a suggestion to, you know, if anybody, it's
Right.
educational opportunities, but
The
there's
vice chair
certainly.
is a membership, so it wouldn't matter anyway.
Well, and I guess the only
Membership for
point of the
years.
story is that information I was told had to be in by September,
It's the end of the month.
yeah, the end of the month. So we have,
The
it's
September
early, we
27th.
just don't have another meeting. So if anybody has any input, I'd say get it to Greg and
Yeah.
Gina, and
Right.
that's, all right, get it
Yeah.
to Greg, that's fine. So if something pops in your head, then, and
Because
then
you all
Greg
think
can
it's a great
decide.
idea, and you'll be like, are you crazy?
Well, it's just,
There's another, you know,
I would-
like the fund commission
I'm just
brought up
kidding.
something that they needed it for.
Yeah,
There's-
right.
We have the ability to do that if we need to, correct?
The fund
There's-
commission's budget is over $9,000. But they
Understand.
put on events. They have events that they,
It's a different
It's a different-
animal,
yeah.
Right, 'cause
you know,
they
where
have
they're,
to-
they're doing some
Right.
community
My
events.
question
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
if at some point we needed to request it, we could do that, request the same.
No, it has to be
hasn't
budgeted.
said- It has to be budgeted.
Right.
it has to be budgeted, yeah.
So you can't
Okay.
request something, like in 2025, we have a $1,000 budget, which most of it goes to the recording secretary.
900.
We have $1,000, but I said most of it goes to the, 900.
Well, we'll
And if
solve
you
it.
wanted to do an event, we've got $100 to spare. But you couldn't do an event for, $2,000 during 2025 because it's not budgeted.
Okay,
So
I
when-
just wanted that, because I
So-
don't remember how the fund commission requested it for the board, and then they gave them an
Yes.
increase.
Yes, and then they asked for, they did, there was a time, I think, when they went in and asked for a little bit more money.
Yeah, they were doing a couple of events.
Yeah,
They were
they were
doing
doing more
an
Yeah,
events.
so, and I think,
So
yeah,
is
so that was
there a
weird, because that was during the
possibility-
budget, that was.
After, yeah.
After the
It was
budget. so
after the
that-
budget, so that's what I said.
Yeah.
There is a
Yes, you're right,
possibility that we could.
But they don't like, I mean, it's, I know, I would have a hard time supporting that. I
But
mean,
Their role is a little different because they do a lot of community events, so that's.
Oh, I understand. I'm just saying is that once we put the budget down for 1,000, if anyone decided they wanted to go, we wouldn't have the money to do that
Right.
then.
I bought all this stuff after we started videotaping, and I took it out of the commission's budget. And then I were like, we don't have enough money to pay the secretaries. Come,
Yeah.
what did you do that for? I'm like, I
Where's
don't
our
know.
money?
I looked, there was still $1,000 in there, so I spent 300 or whatever,
Yeah,
200 on this
bringing it up.
stuff. But you know, it looks good, right? It's professional
looks
looking.
Yes,
Looks great,
okay.
I
looks
had to take it
awesome.
out of something else.
Very professional, it looks great.
One last question. Did you
Come a long
hear
way.
anything back from Sneakers?
No, because I had to fill a form out, and they wanted to know, like, what we had, what the hours were, what the fees were, and I couldn't tell them that, so.
Okay.
But my understanding is,
We don't get.
the gym doesn't
get
get anything, other than people coming to it. No money,
No,
I thought-
Edison has it, and they do not get any funds from it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that Medicare paid the individuals and the individuals pay the
Not
money.
mine.
It's just
Some
that
might.
my understanding, the way it was explained to me is that it's a benefit that's kind of hidden. So if people don't know about it, then they don't know to take advantage of it. But once you get it, if there's a gym that participates, that you say, yes, we're going to do it, then the people come, they show that they have their silver sneakers, but the gym doesn't get any money.
They
get
don't
any
all
benefit.
cover it, because I've checked and mine doesn't.
I put in the 60181 area code today,
The-
and there's 12 of them in our immediate area
Yeah.
that take it.
So-
Anytime Vasa, Planet, LA, York Township, Elmhurst YMCA, something at Oak Brook Terrace Tower, LA Fitness, Ackerman, Spring Avenue, Esplande, and Oak Brook Park District.
So Ackerman and Oak Brook are the two public facilities that take it. I know Ackerman does, because I have somebody I know that used to work there. And the way it was explained is they had a roster filled with people at $0. But I will confirm that.
Okay,
Addison has it too, but briefly when I called over there, they said they don't get any funds, but
That's
the
the way I understand.
the member gets a benefit
Yeah.
from it, but the facility does not.
So that's all I know
Hey,
as
Sam.
of today.
So as far as the budget, have we covered everything?
yeah, $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Unless we hear from somebody else. Nobody wants to go to conference.
Well, I would go. I'd up it to 1,500 and put in for two people to go, but,
We can do that.
well, they can do is say no. I said I'd up the request to 1,500 and put in
That's what I was asking.
300 for two people, like you mentioned, and if you don't use it, then you don't use it. You'd be like people.
540, 1,540, 1,600. If you go on Thursday.
Okay?
If you go on Friday, that's $2,000. $2,010.
There's not a rate for board members that's separate
No,
from
it's non-member.
just a non-member?
Non-member fee.
Okay.
They're not members of the IPRA.
Yeah.
We could get you all
Okay.
memberships, but then that's different. That's a different animal.
All right, all right, all right.
I would
But then you
End
can,
of.
you can attend the
I would like
conference.
to give a little more padding than $100 though. So if we could go 15.
Pat, well, you can't,
Well,
there's
you're
no
going
reason to.
there.
If we go with a couple of, like, we would like to send the chair and the vice chair to the
Correct.
conference, we can go with the maximum, the Saturday at 5:45, that's that's $1,100. So we would like to up the budget to 2,100. Then I can do that, or I'll ask.
Never hurts to ask.
Right, we can do that, and then if we don't use it, you don't use it, but at least the opportunity is there
I
to
would-
use it.
yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, I'll put it in
And I
for
would like to
$2,100.
ask to have it open, so if somebody decides they want to do that.
Yep.
We put that as the
'Cause I
reason,
think
are we
you went-
obligated to
oh,
use
you
it for
did
that
from your
then?
business
No.
one year, right? Or you didn't
Well-
go? Because I know one year when you were chairing, you said something about going to that
I
event.
go every year.
You go every year, but that was through your business?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay,
Wife,
Just for
Yeah, my
fun.
wife, and then I did some stuff.
'Cause there's a
For a few years and had the website.
there is a spouse rate too.
okay, because I know you had,
Sneak in there.
okay, gotcha.
You know someone
the
who
back
knows
door way of
someone.
doing it? Okay,
He uses somebody's badge from last year, come on, Jordan.
okay.
All right, are we, any more comments or questions on the budget before we move on?
No.
Okay, excellent. Moving on to commissioner comments. Ryan, any comments?
Great meeting, everyone.
Christine?
No, I have nothing, thank you.
Donna?
Nothing, thank you.
Michael?
See everyone next month.
Cheryl?
I have a question on how the Sauk Creek Golf Course affects this commission.
Oh, the
Does it
Salt Creek?
Yep, does it come in effect for us at all?
Sugar
or
Creek,
is
you
that
mean.
just
Sugar
the
Creek
Sugar Creek?
Golf
I mean,
Course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole separate commission for that.
Yeah,
There's
there's
a
a whole,
separate commission,
there's
and
a,
that just
yeah.
falls under that, so it would never come under
correct,
this commission that we, because we have a separate one, correct?
correct.
Because it was,
There's a separate one, Elmhurst supplies commission members and Villa Park, so it's combined.
correct, but it's
And they
never gonna
alternate
fall
years.
under Park and Rec,
No,
correct? It will
no,
always
it's a
be
separate
under the
entity,
village,
right.
So it's totally separate, okay. Because that was basically a question that came up, that why is it under
Right.
Park and Rec, and why is it a different commission? And because it was set up totally different, that it was under the branch of the village and not actually.
Village and Elmhurst Park
And
District.
Elmhurst Park District.
Right.
Okay. Are we, I wasn't here for the meeting, but are we eventually going to hear back from District 88 on this tennis court and pickleball thing? Have we heard any more on that?
No, but I talked to the village manager, and he wants to talk to Superintendent Barbenente about the IGA, so.
Okay.
There's-
Is the, and this probably is directed to Gina, on with the two IGAs that we have now with District 45 and 88, is that going to affect the prices that you've been getting for those buildings? Because they haven't been giving you a discount on rental of them.
So 45 is not charging us at all, right?
Correct.
Unless, do they charge us on Saturdays? Yeah.
Yeah, they
right?
will charge.
Yeah, but during the week, they're not. 88, we use for, primarily for basketball on Saturdays, and now we weren't paying anything, and now we pay $50 each Saturday. So still very inexpensive.
Okay, because I know at one point you were giving, it was lopsided.
It was, but it's all good
It
now.
has been worked out with the new thing to work more feasible for cost efficiency for now the Park and Rec
Yep.
now. Okay. That was. I have no other comments. Except our Lufkin looks great. I was great on that. And the concerts at Cortese, I got a lot of great feedback.
Good.
That
Good.
there weren't different groups in, of course. Everybody has an idea what group they want, and I'm sure you hear that all the time, but
We'll work on that for next year. Maybe a Motown group, I don't know.
All right, Sam?
Yeah, I have no comments today. Village Board Liaison comments.
Yeah, no, my phone died, I had a bunch, but, the one piece is the Twin Lakes thing that you brought up, that's gonna have zero impact. It's just on the west side, there's this 9-inch pipe that goes all the way across. There's a bunch of holes in it, so that's, Director Guerrera applied for a grant to get money for that, to review the whole thing.
okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna
No,
affect
it's
the
not. Right
playgrounds
down
or
Princeton,
the
yeah,
ball
all
fields
you
or
did.
anything
I
like
think they would have
that.
brought it to our attention if
That's
there
all.
was. They would have brought it to our
That
attention.
would have brought
and I
it to your
didn't hear
attention if it was.
That's all I had, Sam.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I'm moving on to village staff comments.
I have none, thank you.
Sue?
None, thank you.
Brian?
No comments, thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you, everybody, for the input. Good discussion. One of the longer meetings we had, but it was well
5:30
worth
is
it.
coming off all quick.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion,
I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? There are none opposed. We are now adjourned.
Thank you.
9:33.
Good discussion.